to be sacked. If someone had told you that at the start of the season, you would not have believed it.
Yeah, I can just about hear you, Crossy, because I don't know what the stadium announcers are doing, but we feel like we're in a party here, proper party. It's so loud, but yeah, I was driving on the way down, and I did hear you and Connor speaking about that. For me, Brendan Rodgers still got credit in the bank. He's been brilliant there. He hasn't had his full team this season. Defensively, it's been a big problem for them, not having Fofana and Johnny Evans at times, and Justin and Ricardo and Castagna. The list can go on and on. They haven't had their best defence all season. Listen, he'll be the first one to hold his hand up and says it hasn't gone according to plan, but there's still a long way to go in the season, so they can still finish in that top bit, in the top 8 or top 9 where they want to finish this season. But it has been a big disappointment. But for me, Brendan Rodgers shouldn't be under pressure. I think he's a top manager, and he's building something really great at Leicester, in my opinion.
They have been without players, Connor, and we've spoken about that quite a past. There are positives, though, in there. You know, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who got his goal in the week, he is having a really big impact on this team.
Yeah, I think it's players like him who you know, had these injuries not happened, he might well have remained on the periphery. He's become very much front and centre for Leicester. But, you know, you look at the press conferences yesterday, which I watched both managers speak, and Bruno Lage, I think it was almost like he was rubbing it in for Brendan Rodgers. He said, I've a fully fit squad. You know, all these Johnny Ottos and Pedro Netos and guys who've been out injured, they're all back, they're all available. And poor old Brendan Rodgers is looking at his, you know, absentee list: Timothy Castagna, Johnny Evans, Wesley Fofana, Ryan Bertrand, James Justin, Ricardo Pereira. These guys are all defenders and all injured at the same time. And I think no matter what your tactics are, no matter what formations and, you know, attitudes you try to instill in the players, if you lose that many numbers from the same department on the pitch, any team is going to struggle.
Meanwhile, as Connor was saying, Clinton, Wolves have got everybody fit. They've got players coming back left, right and centre. They're 8th in the league. You know, if they win today, they'll only be just outside the top 6. Some people have even been talking about top 4.
Yeah, why not? Why not? That's wide open at the moment. I know Man United obviously had a good win, and Arsenal have had a good win and got games in hand, but Wolves have got to go and play Arsenal next Thursday at the Emirates. So it's a big game for Wolves. Whatever happens with Wolves this season, it's been a brilliant season for Wolves, I think, because they're in a good position. Bruno Lage has changed the style of play. It was different under Nuno. They were a counter-attacking team. Now they like to dominate possession. It's all positives for me, and the biggest positive is having Neto back on the bench, because I think he's an outstanding individual. So to have him back for the rest of the season, hopefully, is great news for Wolves.
We know that football is unpredictable. You only need to look at what happened at the Etihad last night to remind yourself of that. But let's be honest, you know, if Leicester City concede from a set piece today, nobody will be surprised.
Yeah, no one will be surprised. Spot on. Me and Connor did the game last week, and they were winning. And the last kick of the game, they concede. And how can you let the best header of the ball, Craig Dawson, have a free run on it? And that's because they marked zonal. So I watched them in the week because I knew I was doing the game, and they were doing a man-to-man marking. So maybe they've changed that and looked at that, and they won't be marking zonal. But me and Connor were so surprised that you give Dawson, best header of the ball in West Ham's team, a free run to go and score a header.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, Connor, because it's probably Raul Jimenez, isn't it, for Wolves, who's that player. If he starts getting free headers.
Leicester do not like heading the ball. They've only scored 2 headed goals this season down the other end. No team in the Premier League has scored fewer headers than that. And they don't defend set pieces, and they don't defend corners. And Brendan Rodgers, you know, he's got these big, burly players down there. Çağlar Soyuncu is the one who immediately grabs my eye as the teams come out here. His form has dipped a bit since the Euros. It was a bit of a chasing experience for him as part of that Turkish team at that tournament. I don't think he's been the same player this season. They're definitely missing Johnny Evans, the organisation that he brings in. But, you know, him looking down there, the likes of Daniel Amartey, Ndidi, these are big, tough footballers. They've got to be brave enough. They've got a challenge for it. And, you know, while he didn't exactly throw the players under the bus, he didn't call out names, I think Brendan Rodgers was pointing to that in the press conference. He said, you know, you've got to go and win the header. And I think what he's doing there is a little bit shifting the blame and saying, look, doesn't matter what strategy we do, zonal, covering space, man-to-man marking, whatever, you've got to go and you've got to win the header one-on-one against the player who's nearest to you. And that is something Leicester have dramatically failed to do this season. These conditions, Steve, you would think is going to make that even more difficult. Wolves are going to love this, you know, flinging the ball into the penalty area and waiting for those Leicester defenders to make mistakes.
Let's rattle around some of the scores for you. So it's still Celtic 2, Dundee 2, 20 minutes to go. If it stays like that, Celtic go a point clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership after Rangers drew 1-1 earlier at Dundee United. It's England 0, Spain 0 in the Arnold Clark Cup. You can listen to commentary of that right now on 5 Live Sports Extra. In Super League, it's Salford Red Devils 26, Toulouse 12. We're live inside Ellen Road, where Leeds United have lost 4-2 against Manchester United. Ralph Rangnick is just down below us doing his post-match interview. We'll have more reaction from here at half-time, but our focus now is on Molineux for Wolves against Leicester, and Clinton Morrison is with Conor McNamara.
And as I'm sure it is around much of the country, the rain absolutely teeming down. It was biblical about 20 minutes ago, coming in sidewards. It's got that greasy pitch surface look about it. Clinton, you were telling me in your playing days you loved games like this, conditions like this to play in.
Yeah, I love condition. I didn't like my top being soaking wet, because at half-time I was one of those who had to go in and change it, because I don't like it being stuck to my body. But as a striker, these are the games you like, because if defenders try to overplay, you put pressure on them. And you know what, Connor? Shots from distance, follow up as a centre forward, you get easy tapping. So this is a striker's dream this evening.
That's the voice of Clinton Morrison alongside us here at Molineux. I just want to paint the picture for the listeners. Clinton looks so well wrapped up. He looks like he's working on an oil rig, and there is a high chance he's going to fall into the North Sea. But he'll be fine if that does happen. It is a waterproof look you've got there today.
Definitely, you're not wrong. I saw the weather and I thought I need to look like this today.
How many hoods have you got on?
I've got about 3 hoods on, mate.
Well, spare a thought for the Wolves fans away to our right-hand side. There is one corner of Molineux that has no roof at all. Now, even the sections that do have a roof, the rain is coming in, but there is one corner where they're completely exposed. I don't know how much those tickets cost, but boy, they are hardy to take those seats. They've all been given a poncho, a plastic poncho, which you can see hundreds of them wearing in that corner, and they are absolutely drenched.
Fair play to them, Connor, because I wouldn't be out there, to be fair, because if it starts blowing and starts raining like it has been, they're going to be soaking wet. But you know what? Credit to them, and they're here to cheer on their team to try and get the 3 points.
Those supporters, like Wolves, poncho above their weight this season. It has been some season for Bruno Lage. Arguably, they have been the surprise package of this campaign in the top flight. Back end of the Nuno Espirito Santo reign, things were beginning to slip here. Clearly the club made the decision they wanted to continue the strong Portuguese element, so many Portuguese players and backroom staff, and they brought in another Portuguese manager who let's face it, Clinton, was far from a household name. We're underway here at Molineux. Wolves played left to right as we looked at. We didn't know an awful lot about Bruno Lage, and I would say he's kept a very low profile. He doesn't say controversial things. He doesn't have a pop at other managers. It kind of feels like we still don't know much about him, but he's allowing the results speak for themselves.
No, he is. He's been outstanding. I didn't know much about him when he got the Wolves job. I was surprised Nuno decided to leave Wolves and mutual consent, but to be fair, he's coming in and he's changed the way Wolves play. It's exciting now. They're on the front foot. I was here not too long ago watching the Arsenal game, and they were unlucky not to get anything. They're a positive team now, and as I said, they've got a fully fit squad now, so good times for Wolves.
Underway, Max Kilman, who we heard speaking with Steve ahead of kick-off, rolls the ball back to goalkeeper Jose Sa. What a good signing he's been. Pereira will roll it back to Kasper Schmeichel for Leicester, away to our right as we welcome listeners tuned our way right around the world on BBC's World Service, joining the 5 Live coverage here from a very damp and wet Molineux as the offside flag is raised against Patson Daka as he receives the ball inside the Wolves half. Patson Daka, who has yet to score a Premier League away goal. He's got 4 in the top flight so far. He's had to deputise for the injured Jamie Vardy a lot in recent times. He has yet to score away from the King Power Stadium as Ruben Neves rolls the ball to the right-hand side for Wolves, and Max Kilman, he'll come over the halfway line, gives it short to Nelson Semedo, the former Barcelona player, and now Den Donker. And even in the wet, the first touch has been very good and assured from Wolves in the early stages here as Lookman commits a foul on Ruben Neves, and a free kick to Wolves inside their opponent's half. Good to see João Moutinho back again fit. He has only missed a very small number of Premier League games since joining Wolves in 2018. And Wolves always look a better player when João Moutinho is in the team. Here's Podence, takes advantage of a loose touch from Tielemans in the midfield, but assured defending from Daniel Amartey, who once again is back playing at centre-half for Leicester. He's got Soyuncu on his left-hand side, and Leicester are able to clear the ball away. 0-0.
Yeah, it's a big game for Daka because I've watched him a few times, Connor, and he's exciting. But he's still very raw. When the ball comes up to him, his decision-making can be better. So it's a difficult game because I can't see Leicester dominating possession. I'll probably see Wolves dominating possession, so he's going to have to hold the ball up a lot. But it's so good to see Jimenez and Podence up front together because I like that partnership. And also, as you said earlier there, Ruben Neves and Moutinho. I think they're up there as one of the two best centre midfielders in the Premier League. They're that good together.
So it is still 0-0, early stages here. If Leicester don't win today, it would be their longest run without a victory since Brendan Rodgers has been in charge. Amartey gives it short in the midfield to Ndidi. This is just outside the Leicester penalty area. Ricardo Pereira scored a fine header last Sunday against West Ham. He was injured for the European game on Thursday, but back in the starting 11 for this Premier League match. And now Soyuncu, no real high press on him, will play it long and searching, looking to exploit the pace of Ademola Lookman, who's controlled it well. Into the penalty area he goes, lays it back for Tielemans, who drags it wide. Super opportunity for Leicester. We've only played 3.5 minutes, and Tielemans, with his quality, you would expect him to hit the target from there.
It's a big chance. He should be scoring. It's great play from Lookman. He does ever so well. The ball from Soyuncu is good, but he's coming onto it, Tielemans. He tries to side foot it in. He gets it completely wrong, but it's a big opportunity for the talent that Tielemans got. Brilliant opportunity for him, but good play from Lookman. Yeah,
Lookman and Albrighton are the two wingers today for Leicester. Barnes and Maddison were in the wide positions last weekend against West Ham. Harvey Barnes injured for this one. James Maddison is amongst the substitutes. Scored against Wolves his first ever goal for Leicester a few years back, James Maddison. As Nelson Semedo jogs across to collect the ball just inside the Leicester half. It'll be a throw-in for Wolves in front of his coach, Bruno Lage, who's taken the hood off his head, puts his hands in his pockets for warmth. As Nelson Semedo throws it short to João Moutinho. Back to Nelson Semedo, surrounded by 3 Leicester players, and he just nudges it off Luke Thomas, and he'll take the throw-in much closer to the corner flag that Wolves attack down the right-hand side. From us. A Wolves win here will move them back ahead of Spurs, who beat Manchester City yesterday, back up to 7th place in the Premier League table. Dendoncker crosses, high and hopeful from the right. Podence, smallest player on the pitch, doesn't even jump against Ricardo Pereira, but his presence put Ricardo Pereira off there sufficiently that the fullback headed it out, perhaps needlessly, for a corner. Corner to Wolves on the left-hand side. Exactly 5 minutes played at Molineux.
Yeah, and them type of balls into the box are going to cause problems. It's windy. Ricardo Pereira didn't judge it right, and in the end, I would say it was reasonable defending, but you're right, Connor. He had a free header, and it's a big opportunity now for Wolves.
Wolves haven't scored in their last 5 Premier League games against Leicester. João Moutinho prepares to take this corner. So much made of Leicester's defending set pieces in the build-up. Let's see how they cope here.
They're man-to-man though here, Connor. Look, usually it's the space, but you can see Amartey, Soyuncu and Ndidi are marking.
The Wolves are doing the little train thing where they line up together and try to buffer a little bit of a protective zone. Kilman is there, Jimenez too, delivery comes in, header won by Soyuncu, back out to João Moutinho, who had taken the corner, and he's going to play it here to the edge of the D, to Ruben Neves, who lofts one in, but that's too far in front of his teammates in the penalty area, and it goes out for a goal kick. So the first corner they've had to defend, and Leicester won the header.
They've done it,
victories.
I know Leicester fans are cheering, to be fair, but what I did notice there is Luke Thomas, who's not really big fullback, he's marking Dendoncker, one of the best headers of the ball, so that might be an issue for Leicester later on in the match.
There will be a blue moon tonight because Manchester City scored from a corner today. That's the first time they've done that in the Premier League. It's all happening. That was one of the games of the season. Leeds 2, Manchester United 4. You can catch the highlights tonight. Match of the day 2, BBC 1 at 10:30. Mark Chapman will be with Dion Dublin and Jonathan Woodgate for that one. Here at Molineux, Thomas, the left back in possession for Leicester, gives it to Dewsbury Hall. His attempted through ball needed much more on it. It was straight at Max Kilman, who was able to clear away up over the halfway line. Soyuncu wins another header. Podence, though, has flicked it in front of Dendoncker, and it's 2-on-2. Raúl Jiménez in the middle. He plays it in towards him, and Ricardo Ricardo Pereira slides in and puts it out for a corner. Dangerous counter-attack from Wolves, and they win another quarter 0-0.
I don't know what Ndidi and Soyuncu are doing. I don't know why Soyuncu's coming out of there. He's got to stay with his man. It's good run from Dendoncker. He nearly picks out a great ball to Jimenez. Good defending from Ricardo Pereira.
It is difficult for Amartey. He played right back against Randers on Thursday. He's normally a midfielder. He's playing centre-half again today. Difficult for him. Difficult also for Soyuncu, who's got to play alongside a player out of position. Here comes Ait Nouri's delivery from the corner. It is too high for everyone, and it is going to trickle out of play on the far side for a goal kick to Leicester and to Kasper Schmeichel, who's making his 400th league appearance for the club. The rain still coming down heavily, but the pitch, which seems to be in very good nick in Molineux, is not showing any ill effects. We saw some television pictures earlier of events in Elland Road where you could see the ball was being held up at times in how it tried to roll on the surface there, but the pitch here so far is proving a smooth surface.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You've got to give credit to the groundsman nowadays. It's fantastic. You can see it's not rolling as clean as you want it to do, but you can't complain. With the amount of rain we've had, the pitch still looks like a carpet. And in my day and age, if it had been raining like this, the game would have been called off.
It would have been a swap. Here's Daka trying to run onto a ball over the top. Conor Cody, well positioned though, wins the header for Wolves. Ait Nouri will pass it back into Cody once again. Conor Cody has scored an own goal against Leicester 3 years ago, as Nelson Semedo sends it over the halfway line to Dendoncker. Back neat and tidy again to Nelson Semedo, and I really do like the look of Wolves passing in this game so far. They are at it today. They are sharp. Podence cross on the left. Amartey stretching, wins the header on the edge of the 6-yard box. Leicester haven't got it away. Ruben Neves, right footed for the edge of the tee, gives Wolverhampton Wanderers a deserved start. We haven't reached the 9th minute yet, but it's been all Wolves so far. And Ruben Neves gets his 3rd goal of the season, and he hit that with real relish. It's Wolves 1, Leicester 0. Nothing Schmeichel could have done about that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a fantastic finish from Neves. He's the one who starts it though. He plays it to Podence, and you're thinking Dendoncker wins the header. Again, it's poor from Ndidi. He should be clearing that, and it falls to Jimenez. He sets it to Neves. Tielemans has got to get out quicker to shut the shot from Neves. It's a great strike from Neves, and Kasper Schmeichel, it just beats him at his near post, but it's a fantastic finish from Neves.
That's a really well taken goal. Raul Jimenez back to Ruben Neves, and he doesn't have much time to settle himself. He's got to sort of adapt to the stance he's already in, but it's wonderful technique. It's also belief in his own ability. He didn't even think about taking a touch there. It's a first-time shot, and Wolves have the lead at Molineux.
Yeah, and I think Kasper Schmeichel will be a bit disappointed because he gets a hand to it, and once you get the hand to it, his hand's not strong enough. I know there's bodies in front of him, and he probably sees it late, but for someone of his quality, he'll be disappointed in that. But Tielemans has to get to the ball, and indeed he has to do better before that, because you know what Neves is like. He's one of the best strikers of the balls in the Premier League. You can't give him that much time. But credit to Neves. This is why a lot of big teams want him, and he's still only young as well, Connor.
Wolves unbeaten this season whenever they have scored first in a league game. In fact, you've got to stretch back to 2018 for the last time that Wolves scored first in the top flight and ended up losing the match. This is not good news for Leicester, who are on a very troubling run of form for Brendan Rodgers in the Premier League, and they have come up against a Wolves team here who seem in a very determined mood. We've played 11 minutes here. Ruben Neves' goal has Wolves 1-0 in front against Leicester. Let's check in the Rugby League. Salford against Toulouse. Dave Woods at the AJ Bell.
It's full-time, Connor. Salford 38, Toulouse 12. The conditions made sure it was never going to be a spectacle, but out of that, Kenny Seo, the Salford winger, has scored 4 tries. That's 5 in the first 2 weeks of the season. He's on fire at the start of the campaign. Further signs that Toulouse are going to really struggle this year, but Salford 2 wins out of 2. They've beaten Toulouse by 38 points to 12.
Thanks very much, Dave. In the Union Code in the Gallagher Premiership, Newcastle 14, Exeter 12 is the latest score, as Leicester win possession in the midfield, and Lookman is going to come on the attack, and he's got support outside from Albrighton. Room in the penalty area, right hand side, chance for Leicester, ball across the face of goal, and Jose Sa, diving out away from his goal mouth, was able to get a touch on that and to push it away from danger. Let's check in on England against Spain in the Arnold Clark Cup. Sahel Sahi is at Carrow Road.
Yeah, midway point of the second half, still goalless, but it's a good watch this between England and Spain. 2 opportunities for England in this second half. Lauren Hemp, she struck the post with the first touch of the game, and then Lucy Bronze fed Jordan Nobbs, and she went wide from about 8 yards away. It was a tight angle though. England 0, Spain 0.
Thanks very much, England, who beat Canada in their first game. You can listen to that match on Sports Extra right now. Here in the Premier League, Wolves lead Leicester by Ruben Neves' early goal to 0. Earlier on, there was a 12 noon kickoff in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers dropping points, 1-1 away at Dundee United, which meant that Celtic would have the chance to stretch a lead to the top. But Gavin Wallace...
Yeah, it's still 2 each at the moment here, Connor, just now. Celtic being extremely wasteful. Since Dundee scored, really the only good thing they've done is Jota got a ball in. Abada, though, fluffed his lines and flashed it wide. And just literally as you came to me, I was just checking my notes. Celtic, Connor, have just went 3-2 up. I'm not going to lie, I'm not entirely sure who scored, but Celtic now could go 3 points clear at the top. It's 3-2 to Celtic.
Someday in the Scottish Premiership. Thanks, Gavin. Celtic 3, Dundee 2. Celtic perhaps will be going 3 points clear at the top today after Rangers draw at Dundee United earlier on. So 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. This could be a very important day at the top of the table in Scotland. And here at Molineux, Wolves leading Leicester. Nice back heel on the far side from Yuri Tillemans, but he can't pick out a teammate, and Wolves are going to counter-attack, and they've been doing this with gusto. Good pace by Nelson Semedo down the right-hand side, pushes it in front of Den Donker, tries to angle the ball back across the face of goal. He was looking for Podence, but he was too close to Amarty, and Leicester are able to clear it away. The game has got a nice stretched feel to it. It hasn't got bogged down in the midfield at all. It's now the turn of Leicester to attack, and Lookman gives it into Dewsbury Hall, 15 yards outside the penalty area. His team attack. Look at the room here for Albrighton on the right-hand side. He leans back as he sends in a delivery, headed away to Ndidi on the edge of the box. Leicester have committed a lot of players forward here. They have it on the right-hand side with Ricardo Pereira. Back into Tillemans, hits it well. Oh, and it's palmed away by Jose Sa. He did well, not just to save Clinton, but to push it away from danger as well, because Lookman and Daka were lurking, and had that not been forcefully pushed away, they could have followed it up.
Yeah, it's been a great response from Leicester, to be fair. If he had struck that like he struck that one, like the chance he had earlier on before Wolves scored, Leicester would have been winning this football match. But no, good save from Sa, and you're right. He parried it from where Lookman wasn't there, but Lookman started the game really well.
And another attempt from outside the penalty area, saved again by Sa. He's been great for them this season. The goalkeeper who was brought in to replace Rui Patricio, who joined Roma in the summer, you might remember. But that was very good business. It was £6 million, something like that. And in this day and age, to get a player to come in and be as good as Jose Sa has been this season, that's an excellent piece of business by Wolves, who are on the attack again here. Podence down the right-hand side, just outside the penalty area. Poor ball, nowhere near Raul Jimenez, and Leicester will be able to clear away from inside their own penalty area. Marty gives it to Dewsbury Hall on the left-hand side. Just a correction, I said that England had beaten Canada in their previous game at the Arnold Clark Cup. They had drawn that earlier game, and 3-2 in the Celtic game. Confirmation of the score of the third girl was Giacomakis, who got the third goal to complete his hat-trick for Celtic in that game. You're up to date on 5 Live on the World Service. Bruno Lage is unhappy. He thought there was a foul there on Nelson Semedo. The referee, who was Craig Paulson, waves play on. Leicester have it on the right-hand side of the midfield with Ricardo Pereira. His ball is too close to the goalkeeper, and Jose Sa comfortably gathers. Well, Leicester have improved dramatically since conceding the goal, but Brendan Rodgers will be annoyed that it has taken 1-0 down to get his team finally up to speed.
And the game's too open. It's a basketball match. I think Wolves won't want it like that. Leicester will, because they're chasing the game, and it's been a good start. I think Amarty started well, so Ianchu's struggling again. There's a ball played out. He's got no one to mark. He leaves Podence, and he lets him turn. Go and press Podence. Get close to him. Don't let him turn. But you know what? You have to credit Leicester. They have responded, but Wolves still look a threat going forward.
1-0 in the rain at Molineux as Nelson Semedo sends the ball left-footed up over the halfway line. There's no teammate there, so Soyuncu will have an acre of space to himself to comfortably control possession. By the way, Arsenal fans might want to just lower down their radios for a moment. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has scored twice for Barcelona today, and they are leading 4-1 away at Valencia. De Jong and Gonzalo Lopez, the other goal scorers there, but 4-1 for Barcelona away from home in the Liga, and 2 goals for Aubameyang as he settles into life for the Catalan Giants. This is Ndidi in possession for Leicester to the near side. Luke Thomas, halfway line for Leicester. He's now started 10 of the last 11 Premier League games. This is Soyuncu, 10 yards inside his own half. Back to Luke Thomas, back into the middle of the centre circle again, and Ndidi. Leicester seeing more of the ball, more comfortable in possession, but crucially, now 1-0 down. Albrighton, who's had a lot of room on that right-hand side, hangs in across. Lookman controls brilliantly in the penalty area. That was wonderful control. He got it down onto the deck, but he tried to beat Dendoncker, and Wolves were able to clear away. Better from Leicester, though. The end-to-end nature continues. Sorry, Clinton. Podence gets onto a long ball. He's got Raul Jimenez inside him. Podence goes for goal himself, and it's blocked by Soyuncu, and it's out for another Wolves corner. It's end-to-end.
It's brilliant, but Soyuncu again, one ball is just beating him. It beat him last week where Jared Bowen scores. He's got to check his shoulders. Him and Amati have got to talk more, but back down the other end, it's a great ball from Albrighton, and Lookman, who's been Leicester's best player so far, really lively, but good defending in the end. But it's a brilliant football match, Connor.
Right, this now is what Wolves will have been looking forward to all week in the build-up to this. This is what Leicester will have been worried about. Another corner kick. Leicester, who've already conceded today, they've only kept 3 clean sheets in the Premier League this season. Man-to-man marking again as well as they can, as João Moutinho places the ball delicately and carefully in the little quadrant down by the corner flag, right-hand side as Wolves come forward. He raises 2 hands in the air as a signal to his teammates, who again are all in a line in the middle. Delivery comes in, free-headed down, saved by Schmeichel. It was a header from Kilman, and Schmeichel relieved there that it came straight at him, because either side he wouldn't have got near it.
No, and that's what you want one of your strikers who's on the goalkeeper to get a tap in there. But yeah, it's a free header from Kilman. Yeah, it gets away from Dewsbury Hall, and it's a good header, but it's comfortable save from Schmeichel there.
Max Kilman has only scored 1 goal ever for Wolves. It came last season. This season it came against Everton back in November. As Amati rolls the ball out to the right-hand side for Leicester, and Ricardo Pereira last weekend against West Ham was his first Premier League appearance in over 3 months. He's missed a lot with injury, Ricardo Pereira, but when he is fit, he's one of Leicester's better players. As Romain Saiz clears the ball up over the halfway line, and Marty wins it back again for Leicester, who continue to trail by a 1-0, and we are approaching the 20-minute mark. There's been no let-up from the rain. Dewsbury Hall, bang on the halfway line. Turns, rolls it back to Chaglo Soyuncu. Long searching ball again for him, looking for Lookman. Lookman's never going to beat Kilman in the air, and the ball is comfortably for Wolves back to the goalkeeper, Jose Sa. Leeds 2, Manchester United 4 earlier in the 2 o'clock kickoff. We brought you commentary on 5 Live, and we will hear from the Manchester United boss Ralph Rangnick at half-time here on 5 Live. Jose Sa rolls the ball out low to Romain Saiz. Ait Nouri gives it up to Podence. 15 yards inside his own half. Challenged by Ndidi, fouled by Ndidi, and that is a free kick to Wolves.
That's what you want to see Ndidi doing more. He's gone off it a bit this season, and he's a top player. I rate him highly, but in that midfield, he was one of the best around at just snuffing out danger, and that's what he's got to do, because one of the centre-halves on Marty Soyuncu don't want to go into that space of Mark Podence, and he's causing them all kinds of problems at the moment.
Those Wolves fans continue to grab my eye in the plastic ponchos with no roof overhead on our left-hand side. They look like survivors of some natural disaster or something over there. They're all huddled trying to keep warm under the thin plastic sheets, but they'll be very pleased with the scoreline. Wolves 1, Leicester 0, 20 minutes on the big stadium clock at Molineux, and Ryan Ait Nouri prepares to take a throw-in on the left-hand side. He gives it back to Romain Saiz into the middle of the midfield, and the goal scorer, Ruben Neves with the beard, and then short to Max Kilman, whose ball to Nelson Semedo wasn't the best, and it was telegraphed by Thomas, who nips in and wins possession back for Leicester. That's better from Leicester. Ndidi tried to send one over the top for Albrighton to run onto, but too much elevation, not enough distance, and it's comfortably won back by Wolves. João Moutinho just helps it on in front of Ryan Ait Nouri, and Wolves move into their opponent's half once again. Ryan Ait Nouri veers in field, goes around Ndidi, challenged by Tielemans, and the referee blows the whistle, and it's going to be a free kick to Wolves midway inside their opponent's half. Still Wolves 1, Leicester 0.
Yeah, and indeed he gets the ball there. He's trying to hit diagonals through to Albrighton, who's trying to make a run inside. Just keep the ball, Leicester, because at the end of the day, you're giving the ball back to Wolves, and Wolves look a threat going forward. And that's where they're losing it at the moment, is the midfield battle. Neves, Moutinho, and then Donker getting the better of Dewsbury Hall. And obviously, Ndidi and Tielemans.
The goal came after 10 minutes. It was a nice right-footed strike from Ruben Neves. And now another set piece, which Leicester have got to be on high alert to defend, given their record in these situations this season. Ait Nouri plays it in, left-footed. Header one at the back post by Saiz, and Cody was in there and almost bundled it. Goal bound, and it was deflected away off Ricardo Pereira, and out for another Wolves corner, this time on the left-hand side.
You know what you're told, Conor, if you don't get the first contact, make sure you get the second contact, and that was good from Ricardo there, because you might not win the first one, but don't let Wolves get the second contact.
So the corner again will be taken by João Moutinho, and a huddle of players around the penalty spot, very compact. They will all disperse as the ball comes in from João Moutinho, and it doesn't get floated in. It's rolled short to Ait Nouri. No one aware of that for Leicester. Good delivery in. Den Donker is close, and it comes off a defender again, Luke Thomas. It's another Wolves corner, this time on the right-hand side. The pressure continues on the Leicester City defence.
Yeah, and they're a threat from set pieces. Wolves are a threat anyway, and against probably the weakest team in the Premier League at defending set pieces, Leicester. It's difficult. They're managing it all right at the moment, though, Leicester. As I said, they're not getting the first contact, but they're getting really close. But it's a mismatch, Den Donker against young Thomas, but he's doing all right at the moment.
Bruno Lage was named Premier League Manager of the Month in January. Watches on as his team prepared to take this corner. Floated in by Ait Nouri towards Kilman. It ricocheted off a defender. There's appeals for a handball. Cody's done well to keep it in play by the byline, shuffling it out to Podence. He will wriggle and jiggle and tries to get his way around Tielemans. A succession of turns. Brilliant from Podence. Ait Nouri shoots wide. It should have been 2-0. Mesmerising build-up from Daniel Podence, and Ait Nouri, he put his laces through it, but just off target.
He twisted and turned Tielemans. Tielemans has to buy a ticket to get back in the ground. It was brilliant play from Podence, and then he picks out the right ball, and you're thinking, he's going to hit the target. He just shoots, and it just goes wide of the post, but it's a brilliant play from Podence.
Absolutely, that was really good to watch from Podence. It's all over at Celtic Park. Gavin Wallace.
Celtic 3, Dundee 2, Connor, and a hat-trick from Georgios Giakoumakis gives Celtic 3 points and puts them 3 points clear at the top of the Premiership. Dundee, though, still really struggling to get a win and really struggling in that relegation fight. They did well. Danny Mullen opened the scoring after 25 minutes, but 2 goals in a minute from the Greek striker put Celtic 2-1 up at the break. Dundee levelled it on the 59th minute with a great floated in free kick from Niall McGinn. It was perfect onto the head of Ryan Sweeney, but the constant Celtic pressure was far too much. Giakoumakis completing his hat-trick with 5 minutes to go. It finishes here at Celtic Park. Celtic 3, Dundee 2.
Thanks very much, Gavin. Here at Molineux, 1-0 Wolves lead. Ruben Neves, early goal, but really Ryan Ait Nouri should have made it 2 just a moment ago. As Leicester come on the attack on the right-hand side. Albrighton to Ricardo Pereira, now infield. Tielemans floats one over to the left back, Luke Thomas. He's midway inside the Wolves half. Good work by Den Donker to try and close him down. Thomas gives it on to Lookman, steps into the penalty area, tries to accelerate around Nelson Semedo. He's done really well, Lookman. Floats in the cross. Dewsbury Hall jumps, beaten in the air by Ruben Neves. Falls to Ricardo Pereira, and off balance he skews his attempted volley into the Wolves fans behind that goal. Decent build-up though from Leicester, who are showing that they are still in this game.
Just give the ball to Lookman. He's causing them all kinds of problems. He's causing Semedo problems down this left-hand side. Been Leicester's best player. Just give him the ball. If I'm Thomas or Leicester's midfielder, give him the ball. Daka stay in the box, or Brighton get at the back post. But you're right, it was a difficult skill for Ricardo Pereira, and it goes over the bar. But good play from Lookman on the left-hand side.
Yes, Ademola Lookman, who I saw this week has switched his allegiance from England to Nigeria. He hopes to represent them in international football now going forward. He's been about as bright a threat as Brendan Rodgers' side have had in this game so far. 25 minutes, almost 26 minutes play. Free kick for Leicester inside the Wolves half. Ricardo Pereira Onto Albrighton on the right-hand side, back in field, Tielemans, onto Ndidi, midway into Wolves territory. Luke Thomas onto Lookman, that's a great first-time ball. And Dewsbury Hall takes it well and flashes it back, looking for Daka. And Wolves managed to clear it away. Cody and Saiz between them had it covered. It was Saiz who puts it out for a Leicester. Is it a throw or a corner? I think it's a corner. Corner to Leicester on the left-hand side.
Now, good play again. Lookman's first time into Dewsbury Hall. Good player, and you want Daka to get across, but it was good defending.
That's the voice of Clinton Morrison watching this game with us here on 5 Live. 1-0 Wolves lead. Corner to Leicester. Tielemans to take. Raises both hands as he comes forward. Short run up. Right-footed delivery in towards Amartey, who just couldn't get the touch on it inside the 6-yard box, and Wolves cleared it away. That was a good delivery from Tielemans.
Yeah, it was good defending from Neves. Amartey looked like he was ready to tap it in, but really good defending from Neves.
Been a good game this. There's been no lull in the action at all as Albrighton floats it over to the far side to Daniel Amartey, who was away at the Africa Cup of Nations with Ghana. This is Pereira back into the midfield to Ndidi, and then just as he slips, he plays the ball forward. It's a poor ball, and it's straight at Nelson Semedo. And then Wolves rather rush their clearance, and there's a few groans around the stadium because they've given possession immediately back to Leicester. Still Wolves 1, Leicester 0.
Yeah, Leicester are dominating, and they played well, Leicester. Apart from conceding the goal, they have played well. They've got the ball into dangerous areas and caused a lot of problems, but Ndidi has to be better on that ball. If you're the pivot man, too many times he keeps giving it away, and he is a good player who I like, but you just got to keep moving the ball from side to side. And they have a problem, Wolves, because as soon as they move it, it allows Lookman one-on-one with Semedo.
Bruno Lage's first game in charge of Wolves was at Leicester in August. He lost that game, a Jamie Vardy goal. He was to lose 4 of his first 5 Premier League games as Wolves manager Bruno Lage. It's been some turnaround since then. And as things stand, Wolves are moving up into the top 7 of the Premier League again tonight if it stays like this. And, you know, long way to go, but European football will remain very much on the horizon for Wolves. As things stand, they would be 2 points outside the top 6. They would be 6 points outside the Champions League places, but with 2 games in hand on Manchester United, who are 4th. So win those 2 games in hand, they could be level with the top 4. That's how good Wolves have been playing. Here comes Nelson Semedo. Oh, he's been body checked by Soyuncu there. Soyuncu's going to go in the book for this. No attempt to play the ball. Barreled into Nelson Semedo to prevent the counter-attack. Free kick to Wolves. Yellow card for the Turkish defender.
Stupid tackle as well. Dewsbury Hall is matching him. He struggles massively, Soyuncu. A lot of people say he's top defender. He's only good when he's got Johnny Evans beside him and Fofana. He's been found out this season. He struggled, and he's meant to be one of the best defenders. I don't know why you're coming across to make that kind of tackle. Just stand up. Dewsbury Hall's matched that runner, and he's going to win the ball. Now you've got the rest of the game, and you're on your yellow card. He has to defend better than that.
Yeah, you mentioned Fofana there. Apparently he is due back very soon. He has almost completed his recovery from that fractured fibula he picked up in pre-season. Fofana, who's very young, but what a good defender he looked last season, and Leicester can only hope that he can come back in as convincing form as they had him pre-injury. So this is Wolves in possession with Kilman back into Ruben Neves. Wolves holding on to possession. They lead by a 1-0 here. Right, we're going to get an update from Carrow Road. England against Spain in the Arnold Clark Cup. You can listen to this game on Sports Extra. The latest from Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, we've got 4 minutes to play here. Connor, still goalless between England and Spain, but it's still a very good watch. Both sides at the moment cancelling each other out. No clear-cut chances since you were with me last, but England on the attack. Shot just gone wide. Here comes Kirby. It's Stanway, and the effort goes wide. England 0, Spain 0.
Like Sahel, Canada play Germany in that competition later on this evening. Here in the Premier League, Wolves 1, Leicester 0. We've reached the half-hour mark. Ricardo Pereira comes forward for Leicester, wearing blue, playing from right to left as we look down. Albrighton has been fouled by Ait Nouri. Free kick to Leicester, which Albrighton takes immediately to Ricardo Pereira, and Ait Nouri pulls him back, and that's 2 fouls in very quick succession. That's very unnecessary from Ait Nouri, and he picks up a yellow card. That actually reminds me, do you remember the red card Raul Jimenez was against Manchester City when he stupid 2 mistakes back to back, and he picked up 2 yellow cards and was sent off?
And I was here that same night when Martinelli does it in the space of 5 seconds. So it must be something about this ground and about Wolves.
Well, he would have got away with the first one, but he's been booked for the second one, and Ait Nouri joins Soyuncu in the referee's notebook. It is a free kick to Leicester crossing position on the right-hand side over near the sideline. It's played in by Dewsbury Hall. Header won by Raul Jimenez. Lookman shoots across the face of goal and wide. Oh, he hit it firmly, but it was just skewing away from the target. And from a tight angle, it flashed in front of the goal mouth and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good chance for Lookman. It's on his left foot, but he's got good 2 feet, and he just slashes it across. And there's no other Leicester player trying to come in at the back post to gamble. Need to get more players into the box, Leicester, if you want to get back into the game.
Ademola Lookman has got 2 goals in his last 3 games. He's been the big threat so far. Much animation from both managers down in the technical areas. Bruno Lage has gone way out of his technical area. There's a point that he's desperately trying to get across.
You know what it is, Connor? Every time, because they're playing 2 up front, what he wants is he wants Podence, and when they don't have the ball, Jimenez, to spread wide and don't let the fullbacks get out. Every time it keeps going over one of their heads to Pereira or to Thomas, he gets super frustrated and turns around to his coaching staff. So he wants, when they have the ball, play together. When you don't have it, go wider and stop the fullbacks from getting forward.
Bruno Lage, drenched wet, standing in the rain at Molineux. Doubt he got much weather like this in Portugal, Bruno Lage.
Does it ever rain in Portugal? That's where I sometimes go on my holidays. I've never been when it's raining, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Adama Traore, who left Wolves to go to Barcelona. He'll be watching this on telly and he'll be thinking, oh, did I do the right thing moving to Barcelona from the Black Country, looking at this rain? I mean, mind you, he'd have loved this today against Leicester. In these conditions, he'd have loved getting at the Leicester defenders.
Definitely.
Wolves 1, Leicester 0. We've got 12 minutes or so of normal time to go until the break. Leicester have certainly shown signs of improvement. They've arguably had the better chances since going 1-0 down. There was that great chance for Aïnouri for Wolves, but in the main, Leicester have had a lot of the ball. They've had a lot of presence in around the Wolves penalty area, but they've yet to really bring a proper save out of Jose Sa. He's dealt well with crosses that have come his way. This is Ricardo Pereira. Pushes it in front of Albrighton. First time cross attempted from the right-hand side. Sits up in front of Patson Daka. He's only had scraps to feed off so far. He shot his charge down here. Ball floated by Ndidi out to Lookman on the left-hand side. Nelson Semedo's got a firm grip of his upper arm here. Lookman's trying to shrug him off, and he plays the ball off the stomach of Podence, and that goes out for a throw into Leicester. They will remain on the attack down the left-hand side. Taken quickly. Thomas into Dewsbury Hall to the byline. He sends in a cross, comes off Neves, and Leicester have got themselves a corner.
I think Leicester have been the better team. Since Wolves have scored, we can hear the fans are quiet here, and you think this stadium should be really rocking, but Leicester have silenced the crowd at the moment. But when you're on top, this is where you need to score, Connor.
Full house at Molineux, stadium that has seen fewer goals than any other ground in the Premier League this season, but Wolves already in front thanks to the early goal from Ruben Neves. Tielemans plays in a dreadful corner, and it was defended at the front post by Nelson Semedo. Was looking for Tielemans. He came straight back out to him. Much better delivery this time. Daka falls backwards as the ball fell to him, and if you're a fox in the box striker, that is a huge opportunity, and he wasn't able to take it. Wolves counter. Podence tries to push it in front of Aïnouri, but he doesn't give it enough gas, and Leicester get it back, and this high tempo nature of the game continues as Leicester try to spring on the attack once again. Dewsbury Hall to Tielemans inside the Wolverhampton Wanderers half. Left-hand side as they come forward. Poor ball again from Tielemans. That's poor by his standards. And there's a lunge by Albrighton, and he's hurt himself in the process. He had to stretch to try and get there with Raul Jimenez, and Albrighton is very slow to get back to his feet. Both players were hurt there, but they're now back up standing, and play continues. That was a chance, Clinton. You'd have loved that in your playing days. Daka should have scored.
And that's where they're missing Jamie Vardy. He has to come alive in the box. Has to come alive.
Here come Wolves. Podence, good ball in front of Nelson Semedo to the byline, tracked by Luke Thomas and blocked out for another corner. And this game, which has been relentless since kickoff,
I don't know
the opportunities keep coming.
He books Mark Albrighton for that. I get that, but he can't see Jimenez behind him. He doesn't know Jimenez. Jimenez does well. It's strange, Rev. It's strange. Well, you know what? It's probably the letter of the law, but it's poor again from Tielemans. Tielemans and Ndidi, two of Leicester's better players, keep giving the ball away. They have to be better in possession.
Today's the 12th time that Mark Albrighton has played against Wolves in his career. Only once has he been on the losing side against them. That was back in his Aston Villa days a long time ago now, 11 years ago. He's on the losing side at at the moment here. 10 minutes to half-time at Molineux. Wolves 1, Leicester 0 on 5 Live on the World Services. João Moutinho swings in the corner from the right-hand side. Ruben Saez wins the header down, Ruben Saez. And Raul Jimenez tries to shoot, first time left-footed, but it's a scuffed shot and it's wide. And it is a goal to Leicester and for Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're dealing with the second one, and Soyuncu does well. He gets in Jimenez his face to don't let him have a clean shot. So yeah, Leicester are doing all right, but it's just sloppy in possession, and they're causing their own problems at the moment because they are dominating the game.
Earlier on today, Leeds 2, Manchester United 4. Very good game. United went Manchester United went 2-0 up. Leeds came back to 2-2, and then Manchester United stretched their lead in the second half. This is Dewsbury Hall just inside the Wolves half. Back through Thomas to Soyuncu with the hair tied back on the back of his head. Soyuncu has tried this long ball looking for Lookman on several occasions today. More often than not, it's worked. Again, it's been expertly controlled by Lookman here. He just traps that on his instep. Not as good a touch from Albrighton, though. He gives it up cheaply, and Wolves come on the counter-attack again. Much better from Podence in front of Raul Jimenez. The Mexican into the penalty area, tried to go around Soyuncu, and Soyuncu, leaning backwards, stuck out a leg and made the challenge. And that was a good and important tackle. Now that's cheeky from Podence. He's kicked the ball off Lookman on the ground. Lookman has retaliated hot-headedly, and he has pushed Podence, and Podence dramatically falls to the deck, and Lookman could be in trouble here. He has retaliated. It's a yellow card for Ademola Lookman.
But that's poor, Connor, from Podence, because I would react the same way. He's blasted the ball at him when he's on the ground. He's lucky. I would have gave him more than that. It's poor from Podence, and at the end of you know what? Going back to it though, great defending from Soyuncu. Very great defending by Soyuncu.
Just wondering if was Podence booked for?
Yeah, he was.
Both were booked.
Yeah, both were booked. He was booked for kicking the ball at him, and your natural reaction is to do that because you lose your head. If someone kicks the ball at you from 5 yards like that.
Right, Podence and Lookman both shown yellow, and yeah, that was cheeky from Podence. Lookman was on the ground, the whistle had blown, and it was I'm just kicking the ball away, but he knew what he was doing, Podence. He drilled it into the body of Lookman on the ground, and then, and I know you're right, the instinct, of course, is to do what he did, but
you're right.
You've got to have discipline.
Yeah, you're right. You know what, though, it is, Connor, because it's that heat of the battle where you react after and then you realise, what have I done, because I could get sent off, so you're spot on. That's why since I've worked with you, I've become more calmer, Connor, and I should have probably had you as my agent when I was playing, because you would have calmed me down.
Calming influence, I find.
I think you're a big calming influence on me.
You're a kite bellowing in the wind, and I'm firmly holding on to
you're doing well.
the piece of string.
We are a good team, we are.
Absolutely are. England, a good team too. They've all finished against Spain at Carrow Road, Arnold Clark Cup, Sahil Sahi.
Yeah, very much so, Connor. Ended 0-0. England remain unbeaten under Serena Weigmann, and they more than match Euro favourite Spain. Lauren Hemp, she struck the post, and Jordan Nobbs with an effort flashing wide. Very promising for the summer ahead. Full time, England 0, Spain 0.
Thanks very much, Sahil. 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be coming up at the conclusion of this game at Molineux. They'll be taking your calls from 6:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've a delay in play here. Dhaka challenged Ait Nouri in the air, and Ait Nouri fell very clumsily, very awkwardly. He landed on his shoulder, and it's good to see that he's back up at his feet, and he's obviously a bit sore, a bit tender, but that was one of those falls that you could have dislocated your shoulder or something like that, and unfortunately he hasn't done so. Half-time fast approaching here. The rain, got to say it's slightly eased, but it is still coming down. It was cats and dogs earlier on as Jose Sa takes the free kick, sends it long up over the halfway line. Ricardo Pereira wins the header for Leicester. Indeed, he has it down on the deck. Thomas is his outlet, but under pressure, he'll give it back to Kasper Schmeichel, who's got a very visible snood under his shirt. He's wrapped up warm on what is a cold day at Molineux. Tielemans feeds it out to the right-hand side, and Mark Albrighton, 10 yards outside the penalty area, gives it back into Tielemans. That's a glorious through ball. Albrighton is onto it, and it's an equaliser for Leicester. Ademola Lookman. He's been Leicester's best player. That was an excellent team goal. The quality of the through ball from Tielemans, the acceleration from Albrighton to get there at the byline, and then Lookman's instinct to to be in that poacher's position. It's Wolves 1, Leicester 1. This is turning into a very good game of football.
It's brilliant. This is why I criticise Tielemans, because he's got levels that not a lot of people have. The pass is magnificent, to be fair. He plays it to Albrighton. It's a brilliant pass. And credit Albrighton, you know, in them positions, he'll always pick out the right ball. And Leicester's best player so far, Lookman, slides in and scores a big goal there. But a pass from Tielemans is first class.
So, 1-1. And I have to say, Leicester deserved this. Wolves were the better team in the early stages. They took the lead. Ait-Nouri probably should have made it 2-0. But since then, it has been a good performance from Brendan Rodgers' team, and they are back on level terms. And this game could now go either way. A wild cross from Ait-Nouri on the far side. Flashes over everyone and goes out for a throw into Leicester down below us.
Yeah, it's been a good game though, Conor. I've really enjoyed it, to be fair. Really end-to-end, but I said Lookman was their danger man, but that's why I'm so critical at Tielemans when he gives the ball away, because he's got unbelievable vision. One of the best midfielders in the Premier League when he's at his game, and that was fantastic. And we saw the same thing with him last week against West Ham. Started off slow and grew into the game.
You'll hear all the reaction to this game and the other Premier League matches taking place this weekend on the Football Daily podcast via BBC Sounds. While you're there, you can check out a few new weekly football podcasts as well. There's the Home Turf Pod, where Ellis Platten samples the matchday experience of Premier League grounds up and down the land. And there's also Steve Crossman's Wonder Kids, which I'm very much looking forward to checking out. That's on BBC Sounds from BBC Radio 5 Live. Dewsbury Hall has done well on the attack for Leicester here. They would love to take a 2-1 lead into the break, having come from a goal down here. Thomas, good composure to go around Dendoncker. Gives it to the Leicester goal scorer Lookman. Sends it across to the edge of the penalty area and Albrighton. And he's got Ricardo Pereira further outside him. Leans back as he scoops the ball into the penalty area. That looked like a handball of Romain Saiz. Was it accidental? His hands weren't raised. I'm sure VAR will be looking at it in the background. Leicester continues the attack, and Ricardo Pereira will win what he hoped to be a corner down the right-hand side. But the officials say the last touch came off him, and that will be a goal kick. What about this? We're going to see a replay. Clinton, was it a handball for you?
Ooh, it hits him, but it's not like he's standing like that and the ball hits him. He's not moved his arm, so I don't think VAR will give that, because his hand is out. It does hit it, but he doesn't move it towards it.
It's one of those funny ones, and these, you know, this is why it is so difficult for the officials. Everyone says we want consistency. If you describe that, his arms are raised. Yeah. They are raised. Yeah. However, his hand is directly in front of his face raised, and it wasn't raised. He was in that position before the ball came anywhere near him. But it's, you know, look, it's not going to be a penalty on this occasion, but it's difficult. You know, there'll be another example where a hand is in a similar position to that. A penalty will be given, and people will say, well, it's not consistent. But no two examples are exactly the same. Wolves are under pressure here. Actually, they want this half-time whistle to blow. Yeah. Leicester are enjoying a purple patch.
Yeah, it's brilliant again from Lookman, but I don't know where the centre forward is, Daka. He's put the ball into the area, and he's still up the other. He's got to get in the box. That's how he's going to score goals.
Yeah, Taka did a lot of running, but not getting on the end of much in this first half. Lookman's been a joy to watch. Albrighton, I have to say, he's turned back the clock today. Yeah. This has been the Mark Albrighton of Leicester's title-winning season, when he was, you know, lining up with Riyad Mahrez, and they were wonderful to watch.
You know what you're going to get with Albrighton. He never lets you down, though, Conor. He's a brilliant pro.
Right, Wolves need to respond. Podence to the byline, right-hand side. Thomas is having a good game. He challenges Podence, and the ball goes out for another corner. Corner to Wolves, right-hand side. 30 seconds of normal time remaining in this first half at Molineux. Wolves in their old gold jerseys, attacking the end away to our right-hand side. And still the rain falls. And João Moutinho places it. A host of his teammates on the edge of the penalty area as they wait for this delivery to come. Short run up from João Moutinho. Whip on the ball as it comes in. Romain Saiz flicks it on. It fell in front of Kilman, but he wasn't able to react in time. And he's done well to resuscitate the chance and keep it alive outside the penalty area on the left. Now, Raúl Jiménez has given it away to Tielemans. Chance for Leicester here to move through the gears. Tielemans is patient. He picks his moment, and he doesn't pick the pass. He was looking for the run of Lookman, but it was cut out. and Wolves are able to clear it away. But this end-to-end nature, you described it like a basketball game earlier, Clinton. It really is. I can't remember any action in the middle third here. It's completely end-to-end.
Yeah, it's been a good game. And this is Tielemans, how he can play now, how he's starting to play now. And we said it last week as well. He started off slow and grew into the game. His timing of his pass was unlucky there. But, yeah, Leicester have done well in the second half. I think Wolves need half-time because you can see Bruno Lage really frustrated how things have worked out in his first half.
Return of the Champions League this coming week on 5 Live. We'll be all over that. Today at the Games is on BBC 2 from 7 o'clock this evening with Claire Balding, including highlights of the women's curling, the men's ice hockey and the 4-man bobsleigh. Here at Molineux in the Premier League, 1-1 in a game that Wolves took the lead, but Leicester have showed very good resilience. Leicester, who've been on such a wobbly patch of form, but this is more like it from Brendan Rodgers' team, and he'll be satisfied that his team are ending this half the stronger away from home at Molineux. Soyuncu in possession with the white boots inside his own half. We've moved into 2 minutes that have been added on for stoppages. Lookman, who's hungry to be on the ball this afternoon, collects it on the left-hand side. He's combined well with Dewsbury Hall in this game. Back to Lookman, infield to Ndidi, 15 yards outside the penalty. This is really good from Leicester. Tielemans onto Dewsbury Hall. Wolves fans urging their team to get a foot in and make a tackle. Good cross from Thomas on the left-hand side, and it flashes out off a defender, and it's going to be a corner to Leicester in stoppage time, far side of the pitch from us. It's in front of the Leicester fans who are very much enjoying this.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Dewsbury Hall, and that's Daka is in there this time, and that's where you want to see him, in and around that 6-yard box. But good play again from Leicester, Connor.
Datsun Baka.
Oh, Patson Daka. I knew I got that wrong. I didn't think anyone would have heard that. I'm glad you corrected me.
Here's Tielemans' cross from the right-hand side, headed down by Raul Jimenez. Neves is going to clear away on the edge of the penalty area, and the referee blows the whistle for what has been a non-stop action-packed 47 minutes at Molineux. Played in the driving rain. We kind of speculated before kick-off it could have made it a damp squib of a game, or it could have made it electrifying. I'm glad to say it was the latter. Ruben Neves gave Wolves the lead. Well-executed strike with his right boot after Raul Jimenez rolled it back to him on the edge of the box. That was after 10 minutes. But Leicester did not allow their heads to drop at any stage, and Ademola Lookman finished off a good team move, and this is all set up, Clinton, to be an exciting second half now.
Yeah, it's been a good game. I think Leicester have been the better team, and they deserve to get that equaliser. They were pushing and pushing. As you said, Lookman's been outstanding, and Albrighton's been very good on that right-hand side as well. And Wolves, it's gone quiet here. You can hear the crowds. They started off brilliant. The Neves goal was outstanding, but I think a draw at half-time is the fair result so far.
Wolves 1, Leicester 1 for now.
85058 at 5 Live Sport. Paul, for me, Lookman is streets ahead of Iheanacho on attitude, form and fight. Lookman would cost Leicester £15 million in the summer. We better pay for it. He is unreal. He's had a great first half, Clinton.
He's brilliant. Lookman can be whatever he wants to be. I always watch him and say, you've got so much in the locker. He's comfortable in possession. He can beat people on one-on-one. He's technically good, and he's now starting to add goals to his game. He's caused Semedo and Kilman all kinds of problems, and his movement's simple. He comes short and then spins long, and he can do it the other way around as well, and he gets it to feet. And you don't want him running at you. I think he's been outstanding in this first half.
What he needs to do is score more goals.
That's the problem. He scores more goals. He's going to cost 50 or 60 million any crossing because he's got everything else. And Leicester won't want to be paying that. But he is a top talent, to be fair. He's got a lot of ability. I'm glad he's back in the Premier League playing football and happy because he is a good player.
Greg says Ruben Neves only scores screamers. Adam, there's no one more dangerous from outside the box than Ruben Neves. I was trying to think, Clinton. I cannot remember the last time that I had sort of an in-depth chat about Ruben Neves, and I imagine that's probably because, you know, the absolute worst you ever get from Ruben Neves is solid, and then sometimes he's exceptional.
Yeah, definitely. He's an outstanding individual, and he's still young, Crossy. He's still learning the game. He's only going to improve, but he's one of the best I've seen from outside the box. Striking ability, his technique is unbelievable, and that is brilliant, and that's a side foot from about 20-25 yards. His finish is a side foot finish, and he's got the power, and that's something you practice. That doesn't come naturally with the side foot, the way he caressed that in. He's got great ability for me. He's a top player. Him and Martino are really like in midfield, but yeah, Neves outstanding.
Good after that, Clinton, Connor. Thank you very much. Clinton Morrison, Conor McNamara at Molineux. Wolves 1, Leicester 1. Second half commentary coming your way on Premier League Sunday. Then after that, it'll be Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton with 606. The second that the lines are open, we will let you know. Lots to talk about, including a great game where I'm sitting here at Ellen Road in the pouring rain, where it finished Leeds 2, Manchester United 4. We'll have more reaction to that. Adam Forshaw and Ralph Rangnick on the show after the news with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Buckingham Palace says the Queen tested positive for COVID and is suffering mild cold-like symptoms. She'll continue with light duties at Windsor, following the appropriate guidelines and receiving medical attention as required. Here's our royal correspondent, Johnny Diamond.
This was supposed to be, and may yet be, the month when the Queen returned to public engagement. She's been out of sight for a fair old while now. Just one public engagement on the eve of the anniversary, the 70th anniversary of her Jubilee. But no, there'll be nothing in the way of the sort of video calls that we've heard from before. Instead, light duties, that's probably the piles and piles of state papers that take up a fair old chunk of her day anyway for the next few days to come.
Some medical experts are criticising the government's plan to scrap the legal requirement for people testing positive for COVID in England to isolate. The Prime Minister is expected to lay out his plan for living with COVID tomorrow, but the doctors' union, the BMA, says the timing is odd because of the high number of positive cases. Nicola Sturgeon will lay out her plans for Scotland on Tuesday. Earlier, Scotland's Health Secretary, Humza Yousaf, said the UK government must honour its commitment to fund testing in any nation where the public health advice recommends it. Russian and Belarusian armed forces are extending their joint exercises in Belarus, adding to concerns about a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Belarusian Defence Ministry says the decision was taken because of what it called an aggravation of the situation in eastern Ukraine. Manchester City Council says 2 severe flood warnings are in place for parts of Northern and West and East Didsbury because of heavy rain causing the River Mersey to rise. It means some people may have to leave their homes. Tens of thousands of households in Wales and the south of England are still without power because of Storm Eunice on Friday. And the O2 in London says a UB40 concert scheduled for Friday should go ahead, despite parts of the roof being ripped off during Friday's storm. Concerts by rapper Dave tomorrow and on Tuesday have been postponed.
Hi, I'm Eddie Hearn, and a new series of my podcast, No Passion, No Point, is back on BBC Sounds. I'm catching up with some of the biggest names in sport, entertainment and business about the things that drive their success and keep them at the top of their game.
It was definitely a time of life where I was absolutely praying to get in the position I'm in now. There's a different number one rapper every year, so you just got to keep stepping your game up.
As much as I'd like to think, I've got a good stable around me, I've got a good family, when winning to use everything, I just can't lose.
No Passion, No Points with Eddie Hearn.
Listen whenever you like on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Ellen Road is eerily quiet now. I think we're probably some of the last people left in the stadium as the rain continues to hammer down here, just like it is at Molineux, where it's Wolves 1, Leicester 1. We've got second half commentary on the way. Here, United survived a Leeds comeback at Ellen Road to win 4-2. It puts them 4 points clear of West Ham United. They're in 4th place in the Premier League table. Absolutely crucial victory. After the game, Ralph Rangnick spoke to Gary Flintoff.
I told the team that we have to be as aggressive as we can be. It was all about aggression, putting them under pressure. And I think after the first 15 minutes, we did that well. The half hour before halftime, we really put them under pressure. We won quite a few balls, second balls. But as I said, after the 2 goals that we conceded, that changed the game. And it took us some 5 minutes to shake ourselves. And then the reaction was great. I think we showed some unity and maturity today. The best possible reply to some articles in the media last week about some disruption in the locker room. I think that was the best answer the players could give themselves.
Let's give you a bit more credit. How often in your managerial career have you sent on substitutes and both of them have scored the key goals for the game?
Can't remember. Not that important. I mean, of course it was important that we scored, but that it was exactly the 2 that came on. Might be coincidence, I don't know. But for me, it was about fresh energy and bringing on 2 energetic players.
Great finish from Fred.
And yeah, I mean, he can do that. I think he's probably one of the, I wouldn't say most underestimated and underrated players, but at times I think he doesn't get the respect that he should get. For me, fantastic player and great to have him in the squad.
And just finally, do you think it does answer a few questions with a massive game ahead in the Champions League this week?
Yes. I mean, the way that we played and the performances of all the players doesn't make it any easier for me to find the best possible starting 11. But this is better than the other way around. So yeah, maybe we enjoy the game tonight, but from tomorrow onwards we have to prepare for Wednesday, and then after Wednesday the next important game coming up on Saturday against Watford.
That's Ralph Rangnick. Leeds actually got level at 2-2 in the second half. They scored 2 goals inside a minute. However, that defeat leaves them 5 points above the relegation zone. Here's Leeds midfielder Adam Forshaw with Match of the Day's Guy Mowbray.
Well, Adam, commiserations. First of all, what sort of game was it for you to play in?
Yeah, it was intense. Conditions weren't great, but we give ourselves a fighting chance, come out second half and really rallied, but unfortunately it wasn't to be in the end.
We always say in football, don't we, when you concede just before half-time, it can be a game changer, a sickener, but you didn't seem to let it affect you whatsoever.
No, we had quality off the bench. The lads who came on, they really added something, and yeah, we stuck at it. We knew even if it went till the last 10 minutes with a 2-0 deficit, we were always still in the game. You know, we proven we could score 2 goals in quick succession, but unfortunately, I think, just tired legs at the end.
What do you think was the difference between the teams in the end?
I'm not too sure. It's hard to analyse straight after the game when it's raw. I think, they've got world-class players. Everybody knows that. But like I said, we've shown a lot of fight, and I think we can take confidence from it.
That's Adam Forshaw. We'll be back to Molineux shortly for second half commentary. Wolves 1, Leicester 1 after the live action. It'll be time for 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sunn. 08085 909 693, the number to call. The lines are open now. Chris is with us. Afternoon, Chris.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, good. Very good. That's a massive win for Manchester United.
Oh, yes. I mean, interesting listening to Ralph Rangnick, his interview, talking about they showed unity and, proved a point with the result today. And there were stories about unrest in the Manchester United dressing room, and that was the best way to answer those stories and show unity and togetherness. What do Manchester United fans make of it?
Well, I wouldn't. Listen, I might be looking into this more than needs to be done. But Ralph Rangnick made that point about this is the best way to answer the critics. But he did make it unprompted, which almost might make one think that the reports were more likely to be true, if you know what I mean, because he wasn't asked the question, he just threw it straight out there.
Yeah, but look, the truth is something clearly isn't right at Manchester United this season, and that they haven't looked like a team which are together at times this season, and then people inevitably ask questions. But that was the best way. I thought that they performed really, really well today. I thought the second half was absolutely breathtaking. I mean, you're still there, Steve. I mean, it must have been phenomenal to be in the stadium, the atmosphere, Leeds coming back. But I thought United, showed real maturity. Rangnick is coming for criticism, got his subs right, and I just wonder whether Manchester United fans are looking up at Chelsea. Can they drag Chelsea into it, or are they looking down and looking at West Ham and Arsenal have 3 games in hand on them? I think, it'd be interesting to see the view of Manchester United fans.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the texts as they were coming in this afternoon, and for a game that had all of this drama and all of the goals and everything, the thing that people were getting in touch about most of all was concussion protocols after what happened to Robin Koch. And for anybody who didn't see it or hear it, Robin Koch had a big clash of heads with Scott McTominay. Initially, the concussion protocol took place and it was deemed that he was okay to continue, and then a few minutes later it was clear that he wasn't okay. I mean, this needs looking at, doesn't it?
Look, I mean, I've campaigned for a while, about this issue. I believe my dad died from heading a football, from CTE. And what have we learned? What procedures are we putting in place which are helping players? Current players. I don't think that football cares about player welfare. I think that was a great example today. Robin Koch should have been removed from the field. He should have gone into a dressing room, and he should have been checked out by an independent doctor. If that was the case, Robin Koch would not have come back on the field to play today. It's as simple as that. What's the FA motto? If in doubt, sit them out. Why aren't we following that motto? If in doubt, there must have been a doubt. I mean, there was blood pouring out of his head. It's a terrible look, but I think the Premier League, the PFA, the FA, they should be screaming from the rooftops to get this concussion subs procedure changed, because it makes sense, and it maddens me. There are many sort of sort of branches to this, which we should be doing more about. But the whole debate with this, and people watching that today. I saw the reaction as well, but it's sickening. We aren't doing enough, and it'll be interesting to get reaction from other people around the country and what they think about what they saw today.
Absolutely, it's a really important topic. 08085 909 693. You can book your call now. Thanks, Chris. That's Chris Sutton, of course, will be alongside Robbie Savage for 6:06 once we're done at Molineux. Elsewhere, England women have drawn again in the Arnold Clark Cup. This time it was 0-0 against Spain. Germany play Canada later this evening. Let's bring in the former England goalkeeper Siobhan Chamberlain, who was one half of our commentary team on Sports Extra. Fair result, Siobhan?
I think overall, yes, it was a fair result. Spain did what Spain do and dominated possession, but couldn't find that cutting edge, that clinical, ruthless edge that they're really lacking at the moment against the top teams. They dominate in possession, as I said. They look really good. They play attractive football, but they don't get the job done against the top teams. England, on the other hand, defended really well. They worked hard, especially having made 9 changes. A lot of players came in, and I'm sure Serena Wiegman would have been really pleased with it. They had their opportunities themselves as well. Lauren Hemp came on in the second half, and with what was her first second touch, smashed the ball onto the post, and I'm sure she'll be having nightmares about that, being a Norwich City girl herself.
Yeah, I mean, look, they had the Ballon d'Or winner on the opposite side today. In the first game they played the Olympic champions, so his 2 draws a good set of results so far.
Yeah, I'm sure England would be pleased with those results. I think they'll be frustrated with the game against Canada because the way they dominated that first half, they should have really put it to bed and won that game regardless of them being Olympic champions. Today, I think she'll be more pleased with the performance. She made a lot of changes. Players came in that aren't used to playing together. Players making their debuts, like Hannah Hampton, who had a really assured performance in goal. So there's a lot of positives that can be taken from that, and I think she'll learn a lot more about her squad than she knew before.
Great stuff, Siobhan. Thank you very much. Elsewhere, hat-trick from Georgios Giacomakis sent Celtic 3 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership. They beat Dundee 3-2 at Celtic Park. Earlier, Rangers, who of course are in second, they were held to a 1-1 draw at Dundee United. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has scored his first goals for Barcelona. They won 4-1 at Valencia this afternoon in La Liga. Aubameyang scored twice in the first half. Great Britain's women's curling team won gold on the final day of the Winter Olympics, a 10-3 victory against Japan, which means Britain get their first and only gold medal of the Games. Of course, the men in the curling won the silver. In Super League, Ken Seo's 4 tries helped Salford Red Devils to a second straight victory. They beat Toulouse 38-12, and the Exeter Chiefs have won 15-14 at Newcastle Falcons in the Gallagher Premiership. The Falcons had back row Callum Chick sent off in the first half. 2-time major winner Dustin Johnson has also dealt a big blow to a proposed breakaway Saudi Golf League. He's announced that he is committed to the current PGA Tour. You are up to date. Let's take you back then to Molineux. Remember, 6:06 to come after the live action, but we've still got the second half of Wolves against Leicester in the Premier League with Clinton Morrison and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Steve. Just back underway for the second half at Molineux. Wolves 1, Leicester 1. No changes in personnel over the break. It is still the same 11s for each team. Leicester's games have featured a lot of goals this season at both ends as well. Their 22 Premier League matches before today had a total of 77 goals. Now, only Liverpool's games have had more than that. And this Clinton Morrison feels like a game that's going to have a few more goals in it as well.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that if anything of the first half goes by, because I thought first half it was outstanding, in particular Leicester. So Wolves will want a response, and Bruno Lage will want a response from his players because they let Leicester dictate play too much in that first half.
The teams then, Jose Sa is the goalkeeper for Wolves. Back 3 of Kilman, Cody and Saiz. The wing-backs Nelson Semedo and Ait Nouri. The midfield, Joe Moutinho, Leander Dendoncker and Ruben Neves, the goal scorer. And then up top, Raul Jimenez and Daniel Podence, who was good to watch in that first half. The Leicester team, Kasper Schmeichel, the goalkeeper. Back 4, Ricardo Pereira, Daniel Amarty, Chagla Soyuncu and Luke Thomas. 3 in the midfield, Yuri Tillemans, Wilfred Ndidi and Kieran Dewsbury Hall. And 3 in attack, Mark Albrighton wide left, Ademola Lookman, the goal scorer, wide. Albrighton wide right, Ademola Lookman wide left, and Patson Daka through the middle. Lookman scoring the goal for Leicester, his 3rd goal in his last 4 games. Kilman has possession, 10 yards outside the Wolves penalty area. Rolls it to Conor Cody, who's making his 250th league start for Wolves. Very much Mr. Dependable for them. Poor ball by Saiz there, though. Won back by Leicester, by Ricardo Pereira, and now Albrighton plays it back to the halfway line. Daniel Amati. He's under pressure from João Moutinho. Leicester keep it moving. Ricardo Pereira eventually challenged by Ait Nouri, and that's going to go out for a throw-in to the visitors, who are playing from left to right as we look down. Leicester in their blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. Ricardo Pereira prepares to take the throw. This is midway inside Wolves territory. The wind blowing around. The rain has definitely subsided a bit, but the wind still very much a feature here. You can see it bellowing on the tight-fitting shirts of the players. Ricardo Pereira prepares to take another throw-in. Just down in front of us, gets it back from Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. Good footwork from Ricardo Pereira, and that clever little nudge he had there drew a foul from Roman Saez. It's a free kick to Leicester, crossing position on the right-hand side.
Yeah, you're right, Connor. The wind has definitely picked up, but at least it started raining. But no, this is where you have to keep the ball on the ground. But it's a dangerous position here. Dewsbury-Hall or Tielemans, can they pull it into a danger area? Because, as you said, with the wind, it's going to be really hard to defend.
So the free kick, which is just a few yards outside the penalty area, but right up against the sideline on the right-hand side as Leicester come forward. Dewsbury-Hall plays it in. Goalkeeper's decided to come. Good decision. Jose Sa gathers the ball high above his head. So 1-1 it remains. The rain which has been coming down. Simon King, who does the weather on 5 Live, has sent me a tweet with the satellite image of what's going on weather-wise. He said the squall line is what we've had here in terms of the weather coming down like buckets of water. Hopefully that's passed over, but if you are living south of Wolves, you will probably be enduring the worst of it right now, according to the arrows he's kindly drawn on that map on social media. Good challenge goes in on Podence. Wolves want to throw in, they're not going to get it. Throw in to Leicester. Leicester, who finished the first half the stronger, and Brendan Rodgers will be keen to see them pick up in that vein again here. This is Daka out into space for Thomas. Chance to stretch his legs over the halfway line. On to Ademola Lookman, the standout player for Leicester in the first half. He'll give it short to Dewsbury-Hall. This is just outside the penalty area that Wolves attack on the right-hand side. Thomas has done well to keep it moving. Back to Dewsbury-Hall. Nice ball to the edge of the penalty area to Lookman. He's challenged by Ruben Neves. Leicester still have it though. Ndidi, more central now. Ups for the right-hand side in Ricardo Pereira. Low ball to Tielemans, who played a lovely pass in the build-up to the Leicester goal. I saw a replay of it again over the break. That was a really good through ball by Tielemans to find Albrighton, and then his cross was scored by Ademola Lookman. Leicester win it back again, and at the moment, Brendan Rodgers' teams are winning all the 50-50 battles here. Albrighton to the edge of the box and Patson Daka. Leicester allowing the ball to do the work here. It's generally one-touch stuff. Ricardo Pereira into a shooting position, drills a shot into Roman Saez, and it goes out for a corner. It hit his elbow, but his arms weren't necessarily in an unnatural position. I'm sure the officials will hold up the taking of this corner until VAR have had a look at it. It comes off his hand.
It's out there. It's like the same in the first half. If they don't give the first half one, they're not going to give that one. But his hand is out there. You're right, Connor.
His elbow is by his side, but from there on, it's outstretched.
It's outstretched.
So from elbow down to fingertips, it's stretched out where it hits. But it's all so analytical and detailed these days as to what, the body movement. It's so difficult to judge. Corners taken short. Ademola Lookman to Tielemans. Back to Ricardo Pereira. He whips in across. That's a great delivery. And headed away by Max Kilman. Soyuncu fancies it, but he waited for it to bounce. He didn't have the time to do that inside the penalty area. And then Dunker was able to get it away. Wolves' problem at the moment is they can't get out. It's going to be another corner to Leicester. Wolves unable to clear their line. Still 1-1.
They can't get out. And Dewsbury-Hall done ever so well there. He showed good pace and got in front of Den Donker. And the Wolves fans are not happy. And that's what Leicester players will want, and Brendan Rodgers, because they're doing well. In particular down the right-hand side, Ricardo started the second half really well.
So the corner's going to be taken by Tielemans. Leicester players, it's like 5 people are all trying to stand on the penalty spot. That's how tightly congested they are. But low delivery again from Tielemans and chested out for another corner by Nelson Semedo. He's done that a few times today. Tielemans, he's sent it low. He's trying to just beat the front man. This is better this time. Flick on it by Ndidi, and it's straight to the goalkeeper. Jose Sa makes the save. Now a rushed clearance, but what a good one. Over the top for Podence to canter after. Ricardo Pereira is the defender. Podence gives him the slip. Then he turns back inside him. Then he twists again. But Ricardo Pereira saw him in the first half do that against Tielemans, and he wasn't going to buy the same cheap trick. And he jumps in and he makes a better challenge. And Wolves take the throw in quickly. The high tempo nature of this game continues at Molineux on 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. Wolves 1, Leicester 1, and Marty clears away towards the halfway line, and Roman Saiz puts it out for a Leicester throw.
Good defending from Ricardo. He's different. He is a defender. Tielemans is not a defender, but Penance, he's got great feet. The way he stands up defenders and can go either way, but it was good defending from Ricardo Pereira. And it's good to see him back, Connor, because he's had a bad time of injuries, and he's a very good defender.
Absolutely. He won Leicester's 2 main Player of the Year awards in the 18-19 season. And he's had a lot of injuries in the 2 years since then. Knee injury to start with. Long absence, came back in. He's been out with other injuries this season. But Leicester fans delighted to see him operating at such a high level. And Marty here rolls it back to Kasper Schmeichel. Wolves, by the way, back-to-back away games coming up. They'll be at Arsenal and West Ham. Stuart Pearce is here today, scouting from a West Ham point of view. Leicester got the second leg of their Europa Conference League tie against the Danish side Randers to come on Thursday. That should be a comfortable outing, having won the first leg at home by 4-1 Thursday just past. Here is Albrighton, right-hand side of the midfield for Leicester, playing from left to right as we look down. Gets the ball back from Ricardo Pereira. Albrighton pushes it in front of the Portuguese player, puts it too far in front of him. And so, well, that's a wrong decision.
Ah, come on.
Saiz played the ball off Ricardo Pereira, and Ricardo Pereira really probably should say, do you know what, that did hit me, but he's pretending that he's having enormous difficulty with his socks, and he really does need to bend over and fix those, so he couldn't possibly.
He can't even argue the line, or he's trying to argue. He's literally
That's a terrible decision.
2 yards away from it. Give the right decision.
If Leicester score here, there will be a riot.
I think he's changed it. The referee
has he changed it? He has changed it. VAR in the ear has said that definitely hit. I mean, Ricardo Pereira, he even exasperatedly jumped and he went, oh God, it hit me. You know, it was so blatantly obvious that it hit him. Oh, I love that though with Ricardo Pereira. He just turned his back and kept his head down, say nothing. We might get the throw here. Wolves 1, Leicester 1. 54 minutes of the stadium clock as Luke Thomas turns and rolls it back to Kasper Schmeichel away to our left-hand side. Schmeichel, who's wearing plenty of layers. He's looking a lot bulkier than he normally would do on a summer's day. He's got a few thermals on, and you can understand why. He's not had an awful lot to do, you know. Obviously the goal in the first half, there was the shot from Aït-Nouri. Wolves will be disappointed that they haven't troubled him a little bit more. Here is Patson Daka, good control on the edge of the Wolves penalty area for Leeds. Dewsbury Hall to Tielemans, such lovely weight of balance there as he allowed the ball roll through his legs and into his stride. He's a very elegant player to watch, Yuri Tielemans, as Albrighton cuts in off the wing on the right hand side. Daka tries to return the ball to him, and Saiz clears it out for a Leicester throw on the right hand side. Still 1-1.
They're dominating Leicester. It's the same as the first half. This is a team that doesn't look like they're short on confidence, because they are dominating, playing some good football.
Temperatures have dropped. Rain has subsided. 1-1. Wolves playing from right to left as we look down. Raul Jimenez jumps, wins a header, but it comes awkwardly off his head and straight to Ndidi. And Leicester win it back again. And more groans from the Wolves fans because they've given away possession a lot in this second half. And now there's a foul on Ricardo Pereira, and Wolves are under pressure here.
There they are, and it's done this right-hand side. In the first half, it was all Lookman, and now it's Ricardo Pereira and Albrighton causing problems. And I can see here Wan's getting ready to come on, to be fair. So it looks like Bruno Lage has seen enough, and he's getting frustrated, and he wants a change up front.
Wolves have had a very good start to 2022. Coming into this weekend, only Liverpool and Manchester City had picked up more Premier League points since the turn of the year. By contrast, Leicester have only had 2 Premier League points so far in 2022. They would love to get their first win of this year here at Molineux. 1-1 for the moment. Free kick from Tielemans, right-hand side again, and this has happened so many times today. Low trajectory delivery and easily headed away by João Moutinho. Thomas tries to put it back in the mix. That's a poor ball, and that is straight out for a goal kick to Wolves.
You know what Tielemans is trying to do? He's not trying to overhit it, and that's why he's hitting the front post. He should just believe in himself. Don't worry about the weather. Pull it into the areas like he can do.
So Hwang Hee-chan, the Korean, is getting ready to come on. Wolves' second highest goal scorer this season. He's a former Salzburg teammate of Leicester's Patson Daka. They won 2 Austrian titles together in the past. And he's just taking a swig of water, waiting for his introduction. 4 Premier League goals to his name so far, but none of them since October for Hwang, who started brilliantly, but the goals have dried up for him. Here is Patson Daka in the penalty area. He took it on first time with a shot and no power, and it's comfortably saved down at his feet by Jose Sa. Wolves need to get out of their final third here. They try again with Kilman. just outside his open. Look at Podence waving his arms. He wants them to play it long. He wants to put a bit of pressure on this Leicester team, who is no secret that Leicester's defence struggle. But Wolves aren't putting them under any sort of pressure at the moment. Neves, better ball. Dendoncker on the halfway line. Podence returns it to him. Now a chance for Wolves. They get it to the left-hand side, and Aids Nouri, wind blustering around him. He'll give it back to João Moutinho. Infield to Ruben Neves. Now the ball over the top looks for Nelson Semedo. Well defended though by Thomas. Flag was raised. Nelson Semedo was offside. Free kick to Leicester.
Yeah, I think Saul wants to go long, but Bruno Lage told him no, try and have a bit of possession because he keeps coming back too quick.
Right, interesting change here. Hwang, who's an attacker, is going to come on in place of a midfielder. João Moutinho makes way. Neves and Dendoncker will operate in the middle of the midfield for Wolves, and Hwang will join Jimenez and Podence in the attack.
Yeah, he's just coming back, João Moutinho. You can see he's not up to speed like he had been a month or so ago, because for me he'd been outstanding for Wolves, so you can understand why he's making that change, because they're starting to dominate now, Leicester.
Remarkable engine on him, João Moutinho. At his age, he still plays so many games. I mean, I think he's played something like 5 games this season alone for Portugal, you know, and you would expect him to be winding down, but he plays League Cup, he plays FA Cup, he plays everything, João Moutinho. Brilliant engine. But he's been replaced by the younger man, Hwang, here. And let's see if Wolves can get back in it, get it back in front. Here's Lookman into the penalty area, tries to get the angle for a shot, and he did scuff one forward, but he couldn't bend it into the corner as he desired. It was straight to the goalkeeper and held on to by Jose Sa.
Yeah, it's good feet again from Lookman. He hasn't had the ball as much in his second half, and you'd be wanting, if you're a Leicester fan and Leicester player, to give him more of the ball, but you're right, it was straight at Sa, and it was a comfortable save.
Wolves, who have scored in this game in the first half through Ruben Neves. They didn't score in 4 of their last 5 home league games. They need a goal here if they're to move back ahead of Tottenham and back into the 7th place in the Premier League this evening. Aids Nouri prepares to take a throw-in, gives it to the Mexican Raúl Jiménez, backing into Ricardo Pereira. He's done well to try and get past the Portuguese fullback, and Wolves hope they get a throw-in here, but they won't. It is going to be a throw to Leicester, right fullback position for them. 1-1 it remains.
You can see the Wolves players, they're getting frustrated now. Every decision's if they're not going their way, they are getting frustrated. And that's why you have to give huge credit to Leicester, because they've come here with a game plan and it's working so far.
Wolves in possession on the halfway line with Connor Cody back to Max Kilman. And he's tried an ambitious ball out to the left wing here, looking for Aids Nouri, who does beat Ricardo Pereira in the air. Hwang involved for the first time, gives it to Raúl Jiménez, gets it back again, challenged by Ndidi, fouled by Ndidi. Hwang goes down, free kick to Wolves, shooting position outside the D of the penalty area, and we haven't had too many of these today. An attempt perhaps of a cracker goal from this free kick for Wolves.
Yeah, there should be only one person over this, and that's Neves, to be fair, because he's got great technique, and it's indeed that's what he's in there to break it up, but he just mistimes that tackle. But it's a big opportunity here for Wolves, in particular for Neves, because of his ability from set pieces.
There is no decoy runner here. Neves all on his own, places the ball. Leicester know what he's going to do. The question is, can they stop it? Kasper Schmeichel adds a little bit of saliva to his gloves and rubs them together. He'll have been studying Neves' free kicks in the week. Here it comes, the wind howling around, but it's too high. For the minute it left his boot, it was rising and sailing, and it careers over the crossbar, and it remains Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Leicester City 1.
Yeah, that wasn't one of his better ones, should we say, Connor?
No. Well, he hits them well. They are very good indeed. He has already scored in this game today. Ruben Neves, his 3rd goal of the season. Wind howling around, making it difficult, those dead ball deliveries, but equally, if you hit it right in this wind, it can be very difficult to defend. Schmeichel, 6-yard box for Leicester, rolls it to Soyuncu. We're now in field to Ndidi. We've reached the hour mark. Challenged by Nelson Semedo on Thomas, but the last touch came off Nelson Semedo, and that's a throw into Leicester. Wolves fans weren't delighted with that decision. They thought it might have been the other way. Here is Soyuncu. Infield to Daniel Amartey. Back to Soyuncu again. Higher press now from Wolves, and I think Bruno Lage has decided that they can't keep absorbing this Leicester pressure. They've got to apply some of their own. That's good from Patson Daka, though, releasing Lookman down the left-hand side. Here comes the delivery. Tielemans in the box, steadies himself and just too high. Left-footed shot, he's less favoured, and he went for the far top corner, and it was 3 or 4 feet too high. Another electrifying counter-attack from Leicester, though. They've been so good at that today.
They have. It's a good ball to Lookman, and Lookman got his head up, played it to Tielemans, and you're thinking as soon as he takes that touch corner and it's on his left foot, with his technique, he should be hitting the target, but he's unlucky. He tries to bend it into the far corner, just goes over the bar, but good play again from Leicester.
6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton coming up at the end of this live game. Wolves 1, Leicester 1 for now. Neves and Lookman the goal scorers. Kilman's in defence for Wolves at the moment, gives it into the midfield to Neves, and then his pass is intercepted by Ndidi, and Leicester get it back again. You would say, in terms of care and attention to possession, Wolves could do better. They win the ball back, but they very often immediately lose it. Lookman has it on the left-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. He retreats back through Tielemans, back to the halfway line again in Soyuncu, and Hwang tries to run and put some pressure on Amartey, and that pressure forces a pass to Albrighton, who has been well patrolled by Roman Sars, but Leicester do well to hold on to possession. Soyuncu, halfway line, gives it to the feet at Dewsbury Hall. Early layoff to Thomas. Now it's pushed to the left-hand side and to Lookman. Lookman's got support arriving from Tielemans, and he was off balance as he sent the cross, but it hit a defender anyway. It's going to be a corner to Leicester on the left-hand side. Leicester, who've come from 1-0 down, and they have got eyes on a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, they have, and Albrighton said, I'm taking the corners now. Tielemans, he's still waiting, think he's the corner taker, but as we said, some of his deliveries haven't beat the front post, so Albrighton's going to take it, or he's going to do a short one to Tielemans.
63 and a half minutes on the stadium clock. It will be Albrighton to take the corner. Big Soyuncu is up there. Ndidi is up there. Here comes the delivery. Swing in on it. Ndidi jumped, but he couldn't get a clean touch, and it is going to go out for a throw-in to Leicester. They'll remain on the attack on the right-hand side. Almost a hush descends over Molineux. Wolves, whose form has been so good lately, but they have been given a real game by a resurgent Leicester. Leicester, who were so disappointed. We were at the King Power last weekend, Clinton. They conceded that late goal. They will know for all their good pressure here, it is still only 1-1, and given their track record, there is always the chance that this Leicester defence could give up a cheap goal.
Yeah, you are right, and they do concede late goals, Leicester, so that's why Brendan Rodgers will want to score. While they're on top and they've dominated, you need to score, because Wolves are going to have a spell in this second half for sure.
Yeah. Hwang has come on, and already there's a different attitude. Rather than just sitting back, Wolves are taking the game, or are trying to take the game to Leicester. Leicester's midfield's been so good today, though. This is Tielemans, good delivery, looking for Lookman, comes off the defender Nelson Semedo, and it's cushioned back into the arms of the goalkeeper. It wouldn't have counted anyway. The offside flag would have raised, I think, against Patson Daka, but doesn't matter anyway. The goalkeeper made save. That's a poor touch from Dendoncker. Albrighton looking to capitalise. The ball wouldn't come down for him. He waited for a pass. I think the wind played a part in that. The ball didn't sit up in front of him as it should have done, and Albrighton wasn't able to pull the trigger. The most relieved man at Molineux is Leander Dendoncker, because his terrible pass had given Leicester the opportunity. 1-1 it remains for now.
Yeah, you have to be careful when you're playing them square balls. I thought Albrighton should take another touch, because as you're right, Connor, it didn't sit for him.
And he had the time to do so. Here comes Ait Nouri. Is this purple patch going to arrive for Wolves? That's brilliant from Ait Nouri. Beats the defender, Ricardo, into the penalty area. Can't get the shot away, though. This is Podence! The purple patch arrives in the nick of time. Wolves are back in front, and Daniel Podence gets, remarkably, his first Premier League goal of the season. He took that ever so well to the bottom corner, beyond the despairing dive of Schmeichel. The complaints are continuing from Leicester. They are surrounding the referee, but Wolves celebrated the corner flag. Wolves 2, Leicester 1.
I don't know what they're checking for. They're moaning, and I can see the referee checking. Yeah, Podence has the shot, but it doesn't deflect off Jimenez. He's trying to say, Schmeichel's trying to say Jimenez is in his eye line when he has that shot, so that is what they're checking for, because he's in his eye line to make the save. Here, But no, I don't. He's there. I think the goal has to stand, to be fair. But he's saying he's in his eye line here, so he can't see it. But for me, I think it's a great finish. I don't think he saves that anyway.
Podence took it out of his own feet very well on the edge of the area. As he played it in, Raúl Jiménez was running forward, and he ran in front of the ball. It was certainly not, though, in the area of the goal mouth where the ball did go in. And Leicester's complaints are going to be in vain here. The goal stands. VAR did have a look at it, but they say Raúl was not offside. He was not involved. Podence's goal counts, and Leicester will be raging, Clinton, because they've been the better team in the second half, and Brendan Rodgers won't know how they're now behind.
And that's what I said, it counts for nothing. You can play all the attractive football. I said Wolves will have a chance, and you've got to be ruthless, and they're clinical. It's a good finish from Podence. And before that, though, Pereira's got to win the first tackle. El Nouri goes through him too easy, and he'll be disappointed to that. And then when Podence picks the ball up, there's not one defender or midfielder near him to close down the shot. But if you don't take your chances in this game when you're on top, you will get punished.
Podence scored in the FA Cup against Sheffield United last month. He's got a few in the League Cup. His last Premier League goal, well over a year ago, December 2020, against Chelsea for Daniel Podence. Boy, was that due. He's played well today in fits and starts, but he took the chance really well. When it came to him, it was as clean and true a strike as you will see into the bottom corner. Wolves 2, Leicester 1, quarter of the game still to go.
Yeah, I'm Leicester. I'm looking to my bench to bring on someone like a Maddison or Iheanacho just to freshen it up.
Free kick to Leicester, midway inside the Wolves half. Out by the sideline on the left, played in high and hopeful by Albrighton, too high though. Easy pickings for Jose Sa. Isn't it amazing how goals change games, and suddenly it is Wolves who feel upbeat, and it is Leicester who are now smacking of a little bit of desperation as they try to get back into the game for the second time.
Yeah, I think Brendan's going to go to his bench. He's just talking to Iheanacho and Maddison there. And I just think after you concede, you need a spot, because they have done well in the second half, but they ain't been clinical. And I know if Iheanacho gets a chance or Maddison, they will be clinical.
Jose Sa clears away for Wolves. It was an ambitious one, particularly in this wind. He tried to just dink it with a pitching wedge out to his fullback, Nelson Semedo. And with that height on it, it allowed Leicester to get possession back again. They have it with Tielemans. Can Leicester regain the groove that they've been in? That's a foul. Dendoncker pulling back Tielemans, and he'll go in the book for that. It's another yellow card. Leander Dendoncker, the Belgian international. Joining Aït-Nouri and Podence and Soyuncu and Albrighton and Lookman, who've all been booked in the game. Free kick to Leicester, midway inside the Wolves half. Wolves defence are holding a line just outside their penalty area here. There's a big corridor of uncertainty between that line and the goalkeeper Jose Sa. And Albrighton plays it into that area, but too close to the goalkeeper. And Leicester's quality of delivery has trailed off over the last 5 minutes. And time again, they are giving it straight to Jose Sa.
Yeah, and it's unusual for Albrighton. He's got usually better delivery than that, and it's a poor delivery. And Wolves trying to play out from the back. Another poor pass from Dendoncker.
So it will leave Leicester on the attack. As you're joining our coverage here, Wolves 2, Leicester 1. Neves gave Wolves the lead. Leicester back on level terms by half-time through Lookman. And now Daniel Podence with a second for Bruno Lage's team, who are hoping to return to 7th spot in the Premier League table and very much keep alive their dreams of European football, maybe even Champions League. Here is Ndidi into the penalty area. Neves fell on the ground and made the tackle, and Dendoncker was able to pick up the pieces and wallop the ball clear. Dewsbury Hall gets it back for Leicester. The rain is back too after it briefly subsided. Lookman on the left wing. It'll be interesting to see who Brendan Rodgers takes off. Maddison is certainly coming on. I can see his number 10 through the Perspex lid of the dugout down below us. It's going to be a double change.
Yeah, Iheanacho. I think it could be Albrighton and Daka. They're the two that you probably think. Not that they've done anything wrong, just like I think Lookman's been probably their better player. You always keep on the likes of Tielemans, or it could be Dewsbury Hall, just to sacrifice him, but he's had a good game as well.
He has played well, Dewsbury Hall. Been very impressed with him. Free kick for Leicester. Level with the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side as they attack. No surprise that Wolves have brought all 11 players behind the ball. 2-1 Wolves lead. Even though it's a ridiculously tight angle, there's a two-man wall. It's played in. Cody missed it. Size with a good firm header. Clears it outside the box. Tielemans picks up the pieces for Leicester, and it goes out for a throw-in. Daka playing it off Dendoncker. Throw into Leicester on the right-hand side. This is not over yet. 20 minutes to play. Ricardo Pereira level with the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side now. Rain howling in through the gaps in the corner of the stand. Almarty back to Soyuncu. He's hoisted it out towards Lookman, and you could really see the evidence of the wind there as that ball over the top was held up. Wolves regain possession on the edge of their own penalty area. Good press from Lookman. Wolves trying to play through it, and Neves can't pick out Semedo. Leicester will be pleased with that. The pressure has forced Wolves to give away the ball. Handball too, free kick.
Yeah, you know what? That's the weather, because usually when you clear it like that, Neves round the corner, the wind's took that and it's gone out of play.
So just to explain for the listeners, Nelson Semedo thought the ball had gone out for a throw-in, so he's jumped up and he's caught the ball above his head. He was still on the field of play when he did so. Handball, free kick to Leicester. If Leicester score from this, Nelson Semedo will get some stick for that, I'm sure. Here comes the change. They're going to make the change, Leicester, before the set piece. Madison and Iheanacho coming on. You're right, Clinton, that it is certainly Daka who's making way anyway. So
and indeed,
Kelechi Iheanacho comes on for Daka, and it's a bold front foot change from Brendan Rodgers. He takes off the anchorman Ndidi to bring on the playmaker Madison. 2-1 Leicester trail. This is BBC 5 Live and the World Service. The Premier League on this Sunday evening. Wet and wild in the Black Country as the ball flashes over the top of Lookman. He's not exactly your choice candidate to win it in the air, Ademola Lookman. Small stature player, and it sailed over his head and goes out for a throw into Wolves. Still penned in, throwing in their left full-back position.
Yeah, he's not going to win headers. And I think, Connor, we're going to get the biggest cheer in this ground that we've heard all evening, even bigger than a goal, because I think Neto might be coming on.
Excellent. Pedro Neto, who's missed the whole season with injury, is about to make his long-awaited return. An extremely popular figure around here. Wolves fans and players voted him their Player of the Year last season. Really did have the world at his feet when he picked up that injury. I'm sure he would have been in Portugal's Euro squad had it not been for it. Nelson Semedo clears the ball away up over the halfway line. Soyuncu wins the header for Leicester. Leicester have sort of got a second wind here. They were down on their knees having conceded the second goal, but they're back with belief again in that character which Brendan Rodgers loves to eulogise about so often. Dewsbury Hall, though, has lost it here.
You've been a better team. It's just they conceded a poor second goal when they missed time tackles, to be fair, and they weren't good enough. But they have been the better team without creating any clear-cut chances in the second half.
Just over a quarter of an hour to go. Leicester on the receiving end of a late equaliser for 2-2 last Sunday. Can they be the beneficiaries of a late equaliser for 2-2 this time round? Ricardo Pereira back to Amarty. The quality of the performance throughout from Leicester, Brendan Rodgers will feel they deserved something. Well, that's not how football works, and Wolves, this is how they've been doing it all season, picking up wins. That's why they're so high up the table for Bruno Lage. That's a good challenge, and Kilman, who hesitated a bit on the edge of his own penalty area. Lookman won it off him, tried to pull it back for Madison on the edge of the box, but Dendoncker was there to shield, and Wolves are able to clear away. Thomas trying to keep the ball in play on the far side. Wolves fans screaming it had gone out. The officials say no, play on. Leicester have it. Lovely touch from Tielemans to Madison, trying to hold off Neves. Neves brings him down. Free kick to Leicester. 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area. It's another yellow card. Wolves have got to be careful. These number of yellows is building up all the time, and that's another one now for Ruben Neves.
It is, and Leicester dominated. Listen, if Leicester don't come away with anything, Connor, they'll be disappointed. They've been the better team. Just Wolves have been more ruthless in the final third, but some of the football Leicester have played have been really well.
So here comes the big roar that Clinton has predicted, because Pedro Neto is stripped and ready to come on. The number 7 on his back, a little pat on his back too. An iPad is out. Instructions are being delivered from Bruno Lage. And Pedro Neto in the short sleeves and the gloves gets ready to come on. The Portuguese international, his first appearance of this season. He was named in Portugal's Euro squad, but then had to pull out because of injury. He is ready for his introduction. But
he's got the ability to put this in the top corner, Maddison.
Not until after the free kick. Wolves wisely will wait. Maddison and Dewsbury Hall, the two standing over it. Bang slam in front of Jose Sa. Few paces outside the D, but it's a good distance this. There's enough to get it over the wall and back down again. This is, you would say, the distance of choice for Maddison. Here he comes, right-footed over the wall, just over the crossbar. He hit it well. It took a little flick on the way through. It skimmed up off the top of the wall. It goes out for a corner to Leicester on the left-hand side. Good free kick from Maddison.
Yeah, the wall done ever so well, because it just deflected over Sa's crossbar, but good from the wall there.
Neto still itching to get on. They didn't want to make the change defending the free kick. They don't want to make it defending the corner, so Neto must wait. It'll be Podence who'll be going off to allow him on. Here comes Maddison's delivery, in-swinging, very firm header away from Roman Saiz. He got 35 yards on that header as Podence flicks the ball in front of Ait Nouri. Chance of a counter-attack here for Wolves. This is Raul Jimenez on the halfway line, being held up by Thomas. He's done well to get it back to Ait Nouri. Leicester have got their full complement of defenders back, though, having committed them forward for the set piece. Wolves still have possession. This is Hwang, who's been quiet since coming on. Hooking the choke of the touchline on the left wing. Taking on Tillemans. Turning back now. Support available on the edge of the penalty area from Dendoncker. Now Saiz. Back to the centre circle. Cody to his right-hand side to Max Kilman. Wolves have got a 2-1 lead. This is Podence trying to play it into the penalty area, looking for a good run made by Raul Jimenez, but it's intercepted, and Ricardo Pereira will pick out Lookman, and Leicester should be able to clear it away here. Thomas takes his time, gives it short back to Lookman again. Good example there of the confidence these Leicester players have. They don't just blast it away. They want to hold on to possession. Neto, standing in the cold, still waits for his moment of his introduction for his first appearance of the season. Daniel Omarty for Leicester to Soyuncu. Leicester aren't out of this yet. 12 minutes to play, plus the stoppages at Molineux. Dewsbury Hall, short into Tillemans, not a good return. He wanted to play a 1-2 and he's given it away carelessly, and here come Wolves now. Hwang running deep into Leicester territory. This is Ait Nouri just outside the penalty area, back into the box to Hwang. His shot is charged down by Amarty and it pops up nicely for Kasper Schmeichel. Wolves 2, Leicester 1.
Yeah.
Clinton Morrison.
Good play again from Hwang. He's made a difference. You did say earlier, Connor, he's gave them that impetus to go forward on this left-hand side, and he stopped Ricardo from getting forward, so it was a good substitution from Bruno Lage.
Poor old Pedro Neto. He's had to wait all season to get on the pitch, and now the ball won't go out of play for him. Maddison into the middle to Dewsbury Hall, a sight of goal. He thought about the shot, then thought the better of it, gives it to Lookman instead. Lookman tried to scoop it, he put his foot under the ball and tried to elevate it up, but he got the wrong angle and it ends up in the arms of the goalkeeper Jose Sa, away to our right hand side. Wolves still in front.
Yeah, that's the first probably bad ball he's played all game, Lookman. He should have just took Tomato on. He's trying to cross it. Iheanacho's not going to be Connor Cody and Saiz in the air there.
The ball has gone out of play. It is Pedro Neto time. Let's listen to the response at Molineux. That's the roar from Molineux as they welcome back one of their favourite sons, Pedro Neto. Still such a young player, still 21 years of age. We know what he can do, but having been out for so long, I'm sure the butterflies will be in his stomach now as he comes on to a hero's welcome at Molineux. On for Podence. Wolves have got Hwang and Raul Jimenez and Neto now in the attack as they look to hold on to this 2-1 lead. Chance though for Maddison, well picked out by Dewsbury. Oh, he tried to roll it into the bottom corner and he's put it wide.
Poor Connor, it's poor from James Maddison. He's better than that. Dewsbury Hall does all the hard work, just bursts past Neves like he ain't there. He's got to shift that ball and get a better shot away from him. He's a talented player, Maddison, and this is where Leicester need him. He's not going to score from there. There's too many bodies. He should shift it.
Do you know what I think he was trying to do? Is I saw the Mo Salah goal for Liverpool yesterday against Norwich, where he sort of wrong-footed the defence and tried to roll it into the bottom corner. I think that's what Maddison was trying to do, but he put it wide. It just looked a curious choice. Here is Raul Jimenez for Wolves. They've still got plenty of energy, but a good challenge by Luke Thomas on the edge of the penalty area wins possession back for Leicester. Neto slides in, and his first part in the game is to give away a free kick, and he waves an arm of apology to the referee, and he says the same to Dewsbury Hall, and I think he's saying, look, I'm rusty, I haven't played all season. He stretched out and he bundled it. I mean, it wasn't the worst challenge you've ever seen.
He's been given a free kick as well. Can you believe that? Neto's been given a free kick. Yeah, he's been given a free kick.
That does surprise me. Free kick to Wolves. They've taken all sorts of liberties there. Right, free kick to Wolves midway inside the Leicester half. 8 minutes of normal time to play.
I was like you, Connor, because he was putting his hand up, apologising.
Yeah. He was like, sorry, I fouled you, and the referee goes, the free kick is yours. Neves to take. It's not a shooting distance. Midway inside the Leicester half. Leicester have all 11 back behind the ball. Played in by Neves. That's a good delivery. Soyuncu heads it down, not away. Kilman tried to angle his boot to get a shot, but he couldn't move his body into the right position. And then a good old-fashioned up and away by Nelson Semedo nearly lands in our commentary box. That's come down inside this corporate boxes, I think. It's gone in through the glass window of a corporate box. That was such a wide clearance from Nelson Semedo.
That was super wild. I thought you're going to have to control that, Connor. It was coming right over here.
I'd have taken that down on the instep, Clinton.
And then pinged it back. I know you would have.
We're getting to see a replay on our monitors again of the Podence goal that has got Wolves in front. That will hurt Brendan Rodgers, because his team had been on top up until that moment, and now they are chasing away back into the game. Neto wins the ball off Dewsbury Hall and sets off with really good pace down the right-hand side. This is what the Wolves fans have missed from him. Neat and tidy. Plays a 1-2 with Nelson Semedo. That was really good from Neto. And, you know, regardless of what team you support, for a player who's been out injured for so long, it's great to see him back in full flight.
It's a good substitution from Lodge, because Leicester were dominating, and to bring on a sub like that, just give the place a whole lift. And you're right, outstanding from him, because that's a good opportunity for Leicester, but that's what Neto brings to the team.
Albrighton trying to play his way out of defence, takes on Hwang, goes around him, gets it up to Iheanacho, who's not been in the game at all since coming on, and he loses his footing there as he tries to turn with Cody, and I don't know if he's got the wrong studs on, but the feet went away from underneath him there for Iheanacho, and Wolves are able to clear it away. The clock ticks on. It's not great news for Leicester. 6.5 minutes to go. This is Maddison, though, who's certainly been a breath of fresh air since he's come on. He rolls it short in front of Dewsbury Hall, midway inside the Wolves half, slightly left of centre. He's got Luke Thomas to his left-hand side. Further down that left channel to Lookman. Back again to Thomas. 3 blue shirts wait patiently in the middle. Ball comes in, sits up briefly for Albrighton. Back to Maddison, and he goes for the top corner and he misses, and he holds his head in his hands. It's a chance for Leicester, a mistake at the back for Wolves, but they get away with it.
Yeah, it wouldn't sit down for Albrighton, but he does well. It's a hard technique for Maddison. It's bobbling, and he's unlucky, to be fair. He tries to caress it with the side foot, and it just goes wide of the post. Great effort from James Maddison.
The noise around Molineux now. Their supporters realising that the Wolves players need help now to see this out. 2-1 in front. Heading for what they hope will be their 12th win in the Premier League this season. It has been such an impressive debut campaign for Bruno Lage, and they will remain right in the European mix if they hold on to this victory with just over 5 minutes to play. It's been a very entertaining game, and such has been the nature of it. There is still the feeling in the air there could be more goals.
Yeah, Leicester will get a big opportunity. They will get another chance in this game, definitely, because they're the team who are pushing. And it just looks like then Donker and Neves are just tiring in midfield, because they're getting overrun, because he's changed. He had Martinho there, now he's put one out to the left and Neto to the right. Jimenez, so they're getting overrun in that midfield.
Elsewhere today, Leeds 2, Manchester United 4 in a rip-roaring game at Elland Road. We brought it to you live on 5 Live earlier. In Scotland, Rangers dropped points away at Dundee United. It finished 1-1 there. And Celtic, thanks to a late winner, beat Dundee by 3-2. Giacomakis completing a hat-trick in the 86th minute, and Celtic moved 3 points clear at the top of the Scottish top flight. This is 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. Ricardo Pereira, right wing-back position for Leicester, gives it into James Maddison. Further infield to Soyuncu, and he'll bring it up to the halfway line and encourage Luke Thomas to break into Wolves territory. Leicester playing left to right as we look down at Molineux in their blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. Lookman's gone around Nelson Semedo again. Brilliant wing play. Here comes the cross, low and forceful. Played up into the air by Roman Saiz. Wolves haven't got it away yet. Hwang should do so. He's in the left full-back position. He's been hounded by Ricardo Pereira. Ricardo Pereira wins the ball off the Korean. That's very good. Wolves wanted a free kick, but they didn't get it. Tillemans to Albrighton on the right-hand side. This game isn't over yet. Nutmeg by Albrighton. Backheel by Ricardo Pereira. And then Ait Nouri puts a welly on it and clears the ball out for a Leicester throw.
Yeah, it was good, but there's no need for the backheel from Ricardo Pereira. You're losing the game. Just give it simple to Albrighton, but they are dominating down. They are dominating, and Pereira, he looks like he's knackered. But Ait Nouri's gone down with a bit of injury there, and that must be cramped because Albrighton and Pereira have caused him problems.
They're going to make a change. The left-hand side of defence, Ait Nouri is down. Fernando Marçal, the Brazilian left-sided defender, is going to come on in place of him. Fernando Marçal, who celebrated his birthday yesterday, he turned 33. He is going to get the last 3 minutes of normal time in this game. There'll be a little bit added on for the stoppages as well. We've had one or two little injury delays. We've had the VAR scrutiny of the Podence goal, but as it stands, that goal has Wolves 2-1 in front. Ait Nouri goes off. Fernando Marçal on his place, like-for-like replacement there.
Yeah, it's just a straight swap, and I think Marcel's probably a better defender than Ait Nouri. He likes to get forward more.
Leicester go again. This is Ricardo Pereira, caught by the arm of Marçal as he tried to go round him for the first time. It's going to be a free kick to Leicester, raised armed from the defender who had only just come on. Ricardo Pereira was going to brush past him, and the raised arm has dragged him down. It's going to be a free kick, no further action.
Yeah, he does. He puts that hand in his face. It is a foul. Yeah, he
doesn't
puts
look
it
good
high.
on the replay, does it? Yeah.
He puts it in his face and he does pull it up. It's not like he does it low. He does get it high up.
We've seen yellow cards given for less. Marçal perhaps fortunate, right? This is like a short corner in hockey. It's by the byline. It's midway between the corner flag and the edge of the penalty area. And a very congested box awaits now as Maddison prepares to deliver this from the right-hand side. It's so crowded in there. Wolves, everyone back inside the penalty area. Jose Sa bellowing the instructions. Maddison takes his time over this. The delivery has to be just right. We are into the last 90 seconds of normal time. Maddison plays it in low. Raúl Jiménez heads it away. Only as far as Tillemans. Crash back in. Cody makes the block. It ricochets from Maddison on the right-hand side. Leicester still on the attack. He turns Pedro Neto. Here comes the cross from Albrighton. Again, they appeal for a handball. They thought Marçal handled it. Referee says no. Neto battles with Ricardo Pereira. Really good from Ricardo Pereira to win the ball. But then Hwang shows some muscle and wins it off the fullback, and Wolves regain possession. It's a strong finish to this game. Leicester are throwing everything at it, but Wolves for the moment are holding firm, and they win a free kick for the foul on Raúl Jiménez, and it remains Wolves 2, Leicester 1. Clinton Morrison.
He's a good player, Ricardo Pereira, but just give the ball to Maddison. You don't need to do a step over to try and beat 3 or 4. Just give it to him. Maddison looks at him like, what are you doing? But it's a brilliant game. It's end-to-end. It's been a fantastic game. And if Wolves do manage to hang on, they'll think they got away with one. But you know what, Connor? That's the sign of a good team. When you're not at your best, but you're winning football matches. Yeah,
Ricardo Pereira, I mean, he's got a trick in his locker, and he uses it to very good effect sometimes, but he does do it a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And the simple pass is just to Maddison. He's on the right-hand side. He's got a beautiful delivery, and he tries to beat them, and it ends up Wolves getting a free kick.
I bet he's a great five-a-side player, Ricardo Pereira.
Best, yeah.
He's got all the tricks. Right, Wolves have given the ball away. That was a curious choice of the free kick. What was Roman Saez thinking there? He has bellowed it across the field from one touchline to the other, and he's given possession back to Leicester.
I don't get that. Just keep the ball.
Yeah. We've literally just moved into stoppages. 4 minutes to go. Wolves need to be careful here. They need to run the clock down. Lookman down with the corner flag on the left-hand side, wins a corner. Corner to Leicester. They've conceded so many. They've only scored 2-headed goals all season. Can, ironically, a corner kick produce a lifeline for Brendan Rodgers in this game?
I'm surprised Kasper Schmeichel hasn't gone up. Yeah. I am very surprised.
Soyuncu's up there. 1 Premier League goal for him this season. Daniel Amartey, who's got 1 in the Europa League. Time and time again they come forward. They never score from these. Could they do so now? It's played in. Shrewsbury Hall couldn't get a touch of the front post. Marçal heads away for Wolves. This is Pedro Neto, he's got teammates on he's right if he can pick them out, and he tried to find Raul Jimenez. It was a good try from Pedro Neto, but he didn't hit it firm enough, and it was cut out by Ricardo Pereira, and Leicester get it back again, deep in stoppages at Molineux. It's been a very entertaining game. It's been a very good day of Premier League football. 2 excellent matches with Leeds against Manchester United earlier on at Elland Road. You'll see all the highlights tonight on Match of the Day 2, 10:30 BBC One. Here's Hwang, challenged by Ricardo Pereira, and this time the referee says it is a foul, and it's a yellow card for Ricardo Pereira, and Hwang is down, and he'll try to run down the clock here. Free kick to Wolves, who are almost there for another win.
Yeah, too much flicking from Tielemans in midfield. He doesn't need to be flicking at the ball, and that's how Hwang does well there. He just knocks the ball and says it's a race with Ricardo Pereira. Pereira makes the tackle, deserved yellow card. He's late on Hwang, and Hwang's made a difference. He's given them the energy down this left-hand side. That's caused Ricardo Pereira a lot of problems.
Yeah, there's been a lot of bookings. I think it's 8 now in the game, and it's a game that's been played at such a competitive level. Wolves have done it again. Bruno Lage is literally hopping mad. He's jumping up and down because they've had a free kick and they've just given it straight back to Leicester. If Leicester score, that's unforgivable.
It is. I don't understand. Run the clock down. You don't need to rush it. He just played it to no one, Marcel.
He tried to play this clever through ball. There's a time and a place. That wasn't it, but Tielemans is in turn giving it away too. He tried to play the ball over the top. Stakes are higher for Leicester, of course. They've got to push things, and it's too far in front of Lookman, and it's out for a throw into Wolves, who are almost there for another Premier League victory and another 3 points. That goal from Daniel Podence, his first in the top flight this season. It looks like it's going to be the winner.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to be the winner. For all Leicester's possession, they haven't really created enough in the second half to get anything out of this game.
Neves wins it back in the midfield. Look at the energy he has this late in the game. Flicks it in front of Pedro Neto. Good acceleration by Soyuncu, though, to get to the ball first and to turn and to bring it back towards the Wolves half. Maddison screaming for it in the middle. Soyuncu gives it to his number 10. Back into Wolves territory. Shrewsbury Hall, hounded by Kilman. He's done well to turn and feed it to Lookman on the left-hand side. Can there be a late equaliser here for Leicester? Maddison looks like he's offside. Play on for the moment. Lookman inside the box. Challenged by Nelson Semedo, who intercepts and clears. And anywhere will do now. And Kasper Schmeichel is up to the halfway line. Stepping into Wolves territory. The blonde hair, the flushed red cheeks. Plays it cross-field. Out to Luke Thomas. He goes down under a challenge. Leicester want a free kick. They're not going to get it. Oh, Thomas has done well. Back to his feet. Sends in the cross. Connor Cody's header away to Tielemans. His shot is saved by Jose Sa. Out for a corner. Great shot, great save.
And here comes
the end of a great game. And Schmeichel's coming up at the end.
They're all coming up. Good save, to be fair. You saw when Tielemans, you were thinking this could go top corner. Good save from Sa, but this is the last one.
It's felt like a cup game throughout. Leicester throwing the kitchen sink at it. Kasper Schmeichel, he's not the tallest goalkeeper, but he's up there. He'd love to head this into the back of the net. Here's the delivery from Maddison into the middle. Marsal's header up in the air. Schmeichel jumps. Goalkeeper clatters into him, and the ball is punched out of the penalty area. Schmeichel gets back to his feet. He's still up in the attack. There's no goalkeeper. Pedro Neto for Wolves. Schmeichel tried to sprint back. Neto over the halfway line. He must have thought about a shot. Schmeichel tries to tackle him. He shoots for goal, and he puts it over the top. Such late drama at Molineux. That literally is the last action, and all around the pitch, players are down on the ground exhausted. They were like two heavyweight boxers this afternoon. They traded blow for blow. It was a wonderful game of football, but Leicester lose again, and this is now the longest run without a win in the league for Brendan Rodgers in his time as Premier League manager. He is under pressure. The team, they certainly appear to be playing for him today, Clinton, but it's a results business, and Brendan Rodgers is not getting the results. Bruno Lage goes back to 7th place in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's not getting results, but Leicester were the better team. Wolves were fortunate today. Wolves were more clinical than Leicester. Leicester dominated possession. They are missing their main man, Jamie Vardy. If Vardy plays today, Leicester win the game because they created enough. They just haven't got a centre forward at the moment that can replace Jamie Vardy. There's lots of positive signs, but it's a hell of a game. And as I said earlier, big 3 points for Wolves because they're still in this top 4. Don't write Wolves out.
Really big win for Wolves. It was a day, it truly could have gone either way. But this is the sort of season Wolverhampton Wanderers are having. They have the belief. They have the desire. The goals were of very high quality, both struck from outside the penalty area. Ruben Neves in the first half, Daniel Podence in the second. Leicester deserved praise because they rallied. Lookman's goal was so well executed. He was arguably their best player, certainly in the first half of this game. But it's another defeat for Leicester, and Wolverhampton wonders, well, it could have been the fairy tale finish when Schmeichel came up for the corner at the end and Pedro Neto broke away, and he tried to shoot from about 40 yards out on his return from injury on his first appearance of the season. That really would have been Hollywood stuff, but the scriptwriters, I think, rejected that as too good to believe, and it wasn't to be. But 2-1, Molineux delighted on what's been a wet old day in these parts. But Bruno Lage's, this whole era that he's in charge of at Wolves, I mean, the sky's the limit now, because Nuno had brought them to a certain level, and Bruno Lage looks to have improved it even further.
Yeah, he looks like he could take them to the next level. You are right, Connor, and they've got a big game on Thursday night against Arsenal at the Emirates. Brilliant. It's such a huge game for them. If they can go there and get a result there, they're definitely in contention. But as I said, don't matter how you play, it's about picking up the 3 points. Big result for Wolves.
Leicester have still not won in the league since the turn of the year. Still just 2 points to show for their league endeavours in 2022. And Brendan Rodgers, who at the start of today, even before this defeat, was the bookies' favourite to be the next Premier League manager removed from his position. I mean, he's got to have credit in the bank. FA Cup winner last season, Community Shield winner, all the rest of it. How under pressure is he, Clinton?
Yeah, I think we're talking about it a lot in the media. I think in the Leicester hierarchy, there's no pressure. Obviously, some of the fans are frustrated. He's still churning out performances. I think you have to judge him when they've got their best players. You saw big teams last year missing their best players, and they weren't getting results. So judge him when he's got his best players. It's difficult for him at the moment, but today I saw a big response from Leicester, and I think Leicester will be all right. And if they do decide they want to get rid of Brendan Rodgers, I can tell you there'll be loads of other clubs looking at him. So for me, I think Brendan Rodgers will be safe at Leicester.
It's a big test for Brendan Rodgers. Leicester have not won away in any competition since October, and he has got to try and turn these decent performances into results. The injuries, he will hope, will improve. They can't get Jamie Vardy back quick enough. The latest I'd heard was that he might be due back in the next fortnight.
Connor, that's the one, Jamie Vardy. Listen, we can talk about the defensive. Fofana's back, light training now. He'll probably be about 3 or a month away because you need to build up his fitness and play a few unreserved games. But Vardy's the one for me because he gives his team so much. He scores goals, he stretches in behind, and it enables the players like Tillman and Maddison to get on the ball. And they miss Harvey Barnes today as well because he could have caused problems as well. But for me, Brendan Rodgers shouldn't be under pressure. I think he's a superb manager. He's built this squad and he'll take them to the next level given time.
Where can Wolves finish this season for you, Clinton? I mean, they will have their eye on the Europa League spot. As it is, they are 6 points behind the top 4 with 2 games in hand.
They could finish in that top 6. They definitely could. Listen, there's even chance people talk about finishing in that
You reckon
top 4.
definitely not top 4?
They've got a chance at the top 4. I think after Thursday's result against Arsenal, we'll have a better view of it, but they thoroughly deserve it.
Brilliant. Always great to have Clinton Morrison alongside us on 5 Live. What a game of football that was. Wolves 2, Leicester 1. 6:06 is coming up on 5 Live with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton taking your calls. But first, it's news time with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Queen has tested positive for COVID. Buckingham Palace says she's suffering mild cold-like symptoms and is well enough to continue to work at Windsor. Boris Johnson says he wants to encourage personal responsibility and move away from the government deciding what is and isn't allowed. This week, the legal requirement for people infected with COVID in England to self-isolate will end, though it will still be encouraged. The French President Emmanuel Macron says he and the Russian leader Vladimir Putin have agreed to work for a ceasefire in eastern Ukraine. The statement says they spoke on the phone for more than an hour and a half. And Manchester City Council says 2 severe flood warnings are in place in Northern and West and East Didsbury because heavy rain is causing the River Mersey to rise. Tens of thousands of properties in Wales and the south of England are still without power because of Storm Eunice on Friday.
All this month, the Radio 2 piano is at Maida Vale.
Radio 2's Piano Room Month.
This year's love and alive. Joined by 20 of our best-loved artists.
Hey, it's Anne-Marie. It's David Gray.
Hey, this is Jack from Clean Bandit.
Emily Sandé here.
Hey, this is Ed Sheeran.
It's Jamie Cullum.
All bringing us special live performances accompanied by the BBC Concert Orchestra. BBC Radio 2's Piano Room Month continues throughout February. Listen on BBC Sounds and watch on iPlayer.
Are you ready to have your say in the UK's biggest football debate? Your teams, your views. Get ready. This is 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on 5 Live.
Welcome to 606. Manchester United beat Leeds 4-2 in a thrilling battle of the roses at Ellen Road.
Manchester United winning the ball back, and now the chance to finish it, and it is into the back of the net. Anthony Elanga slots it away, given away on the edge of their own box by Luke Ayling, and Manchester United, they're ruthless. They've won it now. Leeds 2, Manchester United 4.
Leeds came from 2 goals down to get back to 2-2, Christopher, but Manchester United had too much quality in the end. Should Leeds fans be worried about getting sucked into a relegation battle?
What do you mean getting sucked in? They are in a relegation battle, aren't they, Rob? Leeds have been poor all season, and from Manchester United's perspective, all the noises about unrest in the dressing room, that was the best way to answer it today, wasn't it?
Pope and Ronaldo were good, Chris, weren't they?
Harry Maguire was good. You wrote him off last night, Robert. He was excellent, didn't
you? Wolves defeat the Foxes at Molineux.
This is Podence! The purple patch arrives in the nick of time! Wolves are back in front, and Daniel Podence gets his first Premier League goal of the season.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Call free 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Plus, see our privacy notice. bbc.co.uk/5 Live.
What do you make of the game, Chris? Wolves' chances of top 6, top 4, and Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers' thoughts?
Wolves are right in there with a shout. I mean, they've been superbly consistent. Do you know what, though? From Leicester's point of view, I felt for them today. I thought they were the better team, and we may get Leicester fans coming on tonight who say, it's time for Rodgers to go, but I don't think so. He needs to be given more time.
Last night we saw Spurs snatch all 3 points in injury time at Man City. Liverpool are 6 points back with a game in hand, Christopher.
Is there a title race on, Rob? I mean, you wrote Liverpool off stupidly.
Yeah. City will still win it.
Egg on your face, Rob.
City will win it. Liverpool fans, with your players back from African nations duty and Diaz hitting the ground running, can you win the title this season? Here's one for you, Christopher. Rangers were held 1-1 at Dundee United. Celtic beat Dundee 3-2 to open a 3-point lead at the top. It's looking a fantastic title race, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, Dundee United. Does that mean Dundee United are better than Dortmund? Because they got a result against Rangers today. Rangers should have won the game. They had so many opportunities, didn't take them. The 3-point gap opened up at the top. I mean, let's hear from Rangers and Celtic fans. Who's favourites to win the title?
Yes, Christopher, we're here until 8 p.m. taking all your football calls. Get in touch by calling 08085 909 693. Also, I'd like to give a shout out, Chris, to all those grassroots heroes around the country. If any games were played today in that weather, I've been at Mac today, Chris. Our ladies team had a quarter final of the County Cup against Runcorn Linnets, and it was Runcorn Linnets were 2-1 up. We were down, to 10 players. And the game was abandoned at half time. I was on the pitch kicking the ball. The ball was sticking on the 3G.
Why was it abandoned?
Right, Chris,
it has been 3G pitch, Rob.
It was torrential rain, Chris.
But surely your pitch can cope with that.
Well, obviously ours isn't at the minute, Chris. If you were...
all the money you would have been given for that documentary, and you can't afford a pitch, a proper pitch. What on earth's going on at Macclesfield?
If you had a game played on today and the weather conditions were atrocious, like they were in Mac, give us a call, 08085 909 693. Right then, Christopher, straight to the calls. It's a Leeds fan. Steve, are you in a relegation battle, as Chris says?
Yes, we're in a relegation battle, but I just want to say how buoyant I am with that second half performance. We battled so hard and we gave 100%. you can't fault the boys. You can't fault the fans who gave 100% also. And we're all 100% behind Bielsa. We love him. We're going to get out of trouble with performances like that in the second half.
But you still couldn't see it through, though. Is that fair to say, Steve?
That's fair, Chris. Yeah, I'd be fair. It's a fair comment. And at the end of the day, we got done over by some breakaway goals. Man United caught us on the break quite a lot, and other teams have done the same to us. But we're still, we're just loyal and partisan towards Marcelo, and we're on a roller coaster, and this is part of the roller coaster, and we're going to see it through and get out of trouble.
Yeah, but you say that. I understand why you're saying it. You're a Leeds fan. You have belief in the manager. You have belief in the team. But the truth is, Steve, can you really have belief with the way that Leeds defend?
Do you know what, Chris? I just look back to 3 or 4 years ago, and I can't really answer your question because I'm waffling. But I look back to 3 or 4 years ago when we were playing, Cardiff, when we were playing. No disrespect to Cardiff, Sheffield Wednesday, no disrespect to them. We've come a long way under Bielsa, and I really believe we can get out of trouble. Yes, the defence, yes, we can get caught out, but we're enjoying the roller coaster ride. I'd say most Leeds fans are the same. Most fans that go to the stadium are the same in their loyalty.
Liverpool and Spurs, your next two games. I mean,
well, the Liverpool game. What can you say about that? But I think we can get a result against Spurs. Get a draw at least, and then we go on to play Leicester, and then we're playing Norwich and Villa. So these are our big.
You got 3 points. You got 3 points in one of those games.
No, listen, Rob. I know where you're going with that one. Norwich are improving. I really, honestly.
No, I didn't say we'd win them. I just said we got.
No, you will.
But do you know what? I thought that watched the game today, and Leeds, the way they came out second half, I mean, it was like an old school game.
Brilliant,
wasn't it? I mean, it really was. Tackles flying in. I mean, I'd have loved to have been at the stadium today, but then
the stadium was rocking, absolutely rocking, and I travelled 400-mile round trip, and I have my 2 lads with me who've never seen a Leeds Man United game because they're too young to see, to experience that, and it's all part of the adventure. I'm nearly 70, but this is an adventure that will go on until I pop my clogs.
So, Steve, thank you so much for starting off 6-6. I tell you what, Chris, it was a great game to watch. But I tell you what, Ralph Rangnick, Chris, when he took off Pogba, I thought Pogba played very well.
Ralph knows.
Fred. Ralph knows.
Come in for a bit of criticism, hasn't he, Ralph Rangnick? He's had, a member of his backroom team, by all accounts, press reports, the players sort of mocking him, and, stories this week. Ralph came out, I don't know whether you heard the interview, and defended, the club with that, said, that, they had unity within the dressing room. I'm not so sure that is the case. Why did he come out and have to say that? He brought it up himself. But let's hear what Manchester United fans think.
So have you changed your tune since last night, thinking staying at Southampton is better than going to Manchester United if you were Ralph?
We're talking about Ralph Hasenhüttl now, aren't we? No, it's each to their own, Rob. I mean, Southampton, arguably this season have played better football than Manchester United.
What's the league table say? Anyway, let's go to Phil, who's a Leicester fan. No, Phil's laughing, right, Phil?
Hi, Robbie. Hi, Chris. You okay?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. What are you laughing at, Phil? Are you laughing at the Leicester result, or...?
No, I'm laughing at you guys. You always make me laugh. I'm not laughing at the Leicester result. I really am not, okay? We lost again, I get that.
You played well.
I'm not laughing at... Yeah, I know. What I'm not laughing at is I'm fed up of people in certain sections of the media, not yourselves, certain sections of the media, bookies, certain fans calling for Rodgers' head. Very simply, if those boys didn't want to play for him, look what Kasper Schmeichel did in the 94th minute to stop a third goal. They played their hearts out today. We've got no luck. We've got no defence because of the injuries, but you never hear Brendan complaining about it. People need to look where we were 10 years ago, if not 8 years ago, when Nigel came to the club and started all of this. We've come a hell of a long way. We've won 3 trophies, if you can count the Community Shield or whatever it's called these days. We've won the league. We've won the FA Cup. We're having a bad run of it. And as soon as you get players back, the likes of Vardy, the likes of Fofana, the biggest miss is not Vardy. The biggest miss has been Johnny Evans since the middle of last season. Towards the end of last season when we dropped out with his heel injury. That's been our biggest miss because he's the biggest leader on the pitch. The players play the heart and soul out. And if they didn't want to play for Brendan Rodgers, I would get it. Call for his head. But who are you going to replace him with? There's no better manager out there that I can find at the moment to go into our players who develops the youngsters like he has. Look at Dewsbury Hall. He plays them when they need to play. He brings players back into fitness like Maddison he did, like Barnes he did. He doesn't rush them back. The pressure's on Brendan's head. We had one bad result, really bad result, against those Red Boys up the road. Don't want to talk about them. But apart from that, they have played hard. They could give up.
Totally agree with you. I think myself and Chris are big advocates of Brendan Rodgers, the job he's done at Leicester. You know, he's got credit in the bank. I totally agree with everything you've said. Phil, stay there because we're going to bring in Toby, who's another Leicester fan. Toby, how are you?
You are, Rob. Right, Chris.
So Toby, Phil's another Leicester fan. Say hello to Phil, Toby.
Hi, Toby.
So, Phil, go on, Toby. You've just heard what... Go on.
We at the game, Phil, because I thought today, diabolical, no chances created, absolutely poor at the back, passing sideways, backwards. We've got a team of crabs here at Leicester. We've got to go forward, backwards, sideways. No football play.
Okay, you say we had no chances, Toby. What about Lookman? What about Maddison? What about Tielemans? What about the saves that keepers made?
Tielemans plays like he don't want to be at the club anymore. He's a sideways Sally. He looks like he's carrying a truck. When he's dribbling with that ball, he looks like he's carrying a truck. Honestly, when he turns, it's like he's got a bus on his back. He's a bang average footballer. And you know what? As a Leicester fan who went the game today, I can't wait to get rid of him.
Well, if that's what you think, I'd like to see who you replace him with. You say he's bang average, right? Look at the passes he's made throughout the season. If he didn't want to be at the club, he wouldn't play like he plays. Yes, he didn't get him on target very easily, but it's a creation in midfield. He brings people together. He's bringing Dewsbury Hall on. He brings Dewsbury Hall on. You look at the defence. Hold on. You say the defence.
He's a young and he has a passion. He wears his heart on his sleeve and he wants to play for Leicester. If you look at Tielemans, he wants to be playing for Man United or Anderlecht or Roma or someone like that. He don't want to be playing for Leicester City. He don't have the passion, the heart or the desire.
Toby, can I just say, Toby, where are you on Brendan Rodgers then, Toby?
Brendan Rodgers is got to get out of this club as soon as possible. If I was a City board right now, I'd bring in Mark Hughes. Robert, you know about Mark Hughes. He knows how to build a football club from bottom to top. You've seen the job he did at Blackburn and Stoke. He maintains good attacking football. He's a good manager.
Did you see the job he did at Southampton, Toby?
Yeah, he did a good job at Southampton. He kept them in the division. And look at what Hoon Hunter's doing now there. He's doing a fantastic job. He's taking them to your.
I'm not sure that's the same. I'm not sure that's the same manager. We all know, but carry on.
Houston Hunter. He's doing a fantastic job. And guess who laid down the foundation for Houston Hunter? Mark Hughes done a fantastic job at Southampton, keeping them in the division. And don't get me wrong, in a few years, and I'll say this to any old Tom, Dick and Harry, Leicester City will be in the Championship in a few seasons. Don't worry about that.
Wow, Toby, thank you. Phil, do you want to respond?
Well, I'd like to know where Mark Hughes is managing in Southampton, and really, if he thinks we're going to be in the Championship, fine. I've followed this club. Now I'm 53. My first game was when I was 4. I followed it all the way down to the First Division, went to Hartlepool, everywhere you could possibly think of. I work in catering. I don't go to the games as much as I could, but I do work at a lot of them, and I work at a lot in the club. I worked quite a long time for the club when we won the league. I couldn't go to the game today because I've actually been doing something else at Manchester United. But I tell you what, if he's a Leicester fan, and if he thinks Mark Hughes, who's sorry he's managing Southampton, is what we should go for, then good luck to him, because I'll tell you what, it's not the club I want. That's nothing against Mark Hughes, because what he did for every club he went to, he gave it everything he possibly could, and he was a good manager. Yeah, but at the moment, if we get rid of Brendan Rodgers, please tell me who we go for. Do you want to go back to Claude Puel, where he goes? He wants to see crab football, as he calls it. Well, that was side to side, side to side, side to side.
Sideways, Sally. That's another one of his phrases.
Yeah, the only reason we had Puel so long, because his dignity when we had the helicopter crash was superb. The whole club was. I was in the stadium that day that happened, okay? I think we could not get a better manager for the squad of players, for the owners we've got. The club is run from top to bottom in an absolute fantastic way. The CEO, top, the whole group of them look after the club. And that's not just the first team. They've taken the women's team professionally into their hands this year, last year. The whole development from the training ground through, that club is superbly run, and I would put anybody to find me a better run football club in the whole of the Football League and Premiership at the moment. But if he wants to have Mark Hughes in the hot seat from Southampton, sorry, Mark, no disrespect, but I didn't think you were working there. I'd love to see what he could do, because I don't think anybody will do better than what Brendan did. And the fact that Casper, in the 94th minute, we're losing 2-1. He tackles to stop a third goal. If those boys weren't playing for Brendan Rodgers, Casper would have stayed in the 18-yard box. They'd have let the third goal in. Job done.
Phil, thank you. Yeah, Phil, thank you so much for your call.
Cheers,
I think what Toby was saying, Chris, obviously when Mark Hughes was out Southampton, I don't think Toby thought Mark Hughes was managing Southampton now, but just thought Mark Hughes would be a good choice for Leicester, and Brendan Rodgers needs to go now. I totally disagree with that. I think Brendan Rodgers, for me, what he's done for Leicester City, and I thought Phil spoke exceptionally well.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. I mean, but all fans are entitled to their opinion. Of course, Toby's entitled to his opinion. I thought the performance was there today. It didn't look like they're a group of players who weren't playing for Brendan, and this is a bit of a blip. But there are a lot of Leicester City fans out there who are really dissatisfied with this season.
08085 909 693. Right there, what a win it was for Spurs yesterday, Christopher. David, it was a good win, wasn't it?
Well, can you believe that? That was unbelievable. Good evening, boys.
Good evening.
Good evening, all football fans, 606 listeners around the country. It was unbelievable. But what it showed, more than anything else, was, and I admire Pep, he's a tremendous coach, but he's inflexible. And Antonio has shown with Chelsea and now with Spurs that he can.
He's what? He's what? Pep's what?
Pep's inflexible. Pep.
Inflexible. That's that.
Yes.
Pardon? He's adapted. He's adapted so many times. He's played without a number 9.
Yeah. Okay.
But let David explain why.
Well, come on. Okay.
They would not. We knew Spurs would hit on the break. We knew that. Yet they played such a high line, and Spurs, every time Spurs made a break, they looked like scoring.
Can I just stop you there, please? David, I've just got to stop you there. You come back to you after Rob Northman has spoken to Brendan Rodgers.
Thanks, Robbie. Brendan Rodgers standing in the wind and the rain. You didn't deserve that today, did you, Brendan?
No, I didn't think so. I thought the performance level was very good. You see the confidence in the team. We've sort of carried on for where we've been in the last week or so with the level, and just disappointed. They've had 2 shots at goal and scored twice, so that's our only disappointment. But our football, confidence of the game, the energy, the spirit in the team is all there, against the team that obviously prepared all week. But for us, I'm disappointed with the players because they deserved at least something from that game.
We know that you've got so many players out injured at the moment. How are you going to stiffen up the defence to stop leaking these goals in the short term until these players return?
Yeah, you've just got to continue to work, and it's as simple as that.
A lot of fans, 1 or 2 frustrated, 1 or 2 very supportive. Is your appetite for this job just as strong as ever?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm, nearly 3 years here. The players, we've created an expectation around the team and with our performance level. This year's been a challenging season for us, but you see the likes of today, with so many players out that are missing from the starting 11, but to play to that level, to that performance, I think our performance curve, we're on our way back again. So you just got to keep focusing on the football. And for me, of course, absolutely, the energy here. I've got another 3 years left in my contract here, and I feel that I want to keep continuing developing the team. And a very young squad, like you see, but there's still lots of improvement there.
And one last thing about Ademola Lookman. I know he scored the goal, but he looked a threat throughout. You really got a good tune out of him today.
Yeah, he's excellent. That's his best side. He's played for me a lot on the right side because of Harvey Barnes on the left. But yeah, he was a real threat in the 1v1, and he ends up getting a goal for all his good work.
Brendan, thanks so much for putting up with the wind and the rain. That's Brendan Rodgers in a wind tunnel at Molineux, Robbie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rob. I thought Brendan always speaks well. Chris, 3 years left on his contract. You know, I think he has done a fantastic job with Leicester, Chris.
Yeah, and look, I mean, you know, all clubs go through blips at times, and, you know, Leicester have had severe injuries, haven't they? You know, you think Fofana out, Evans out. You know, they've got issues at the back, issues with set plays. Vardy's out, the main man. But, you know, I mean, as the earlier fan said, who would Leicester replace Brendan Rodgers with? Who's a better manager? I don't know. Yeah. Let's put it out there.
08085 909 693. David, sorry to for that.
Don't worry. I do feel for Brendan. I live in Northern Ireland, and he's a good county entering man, and I feel for him. But we have to go through these. Getting back to Pep, yeah. I'm not criticising Pep at all. But
you called him inflexible.
Inflexible. What is inflexible? What does inflexible then mean?
Yeah, he doesn't change very much. He sticks to his guns all the time.
And they blow everybody away, don't they? By playing.
Let me tell you why I really phoned. Let me move on to Spurs and Spurs history. Spurs have always run, even from Alan Sugar's days, a sustainable, economically sustainable club, development club. We've been happy to top half of the table, scraping into the top four, a bit of Champions League success, and Daniel Levy, like all successful people, likes to run the organisation. I have a business background, and I meet people like Daniel Levy and Enoch all the time. They like to run. They have some sort of feeling of not invincibility, but you feel when you're successful that you're always going to be successful. And up to Poch, and Poch was a development project, really, and Nuno, I think, was going to be another development project for Spurs. But I think looking at Antonio Conte at the beginning of the season, they didn't bring him in because they didn't want the challenge they knew Conte would bring. But I felt after Nuno, I felt that Daniel Levy decided he crossed the Rubicon. If anybody knows Roman history, he crossed the Rubicon. He felt we need challenge. Not only do Daniel Levy, need challenged, but the whole system at Spurs need challenging. And Antonio is the sort of person to do that. And I feel that Antonio Conte has been a successful manager, like all successful managers in business as well. You tend to want to succeed with successful organisations, but you also get a lot of kudos for going somewhere that isn't entirely successful. Look at the stock market. Often it happens with PLCs. A manager will go in and bring a PLC, and they get a lot of kudos for doing that. Yeah. I think Antonio feels that maybe rather than him being a development for Spurs development for Antonio Conte. Steve Hitchens left. I think a lot of change will take place at Spurs because Conte, not by arguing, but by just his demeanour, the way he does things, his drive, will challenge everybody at the club.
Right, but okay. So I mean, where does he think that he's going to take Spurs then? Conte. Has he gone?
Hello?
Maybe, who knows? But,
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, Dave, you cut out there. Say that again.
Sorry?
Hello, David?
I'm with you. I'm talking.
Oh, yeah, we couldn't hear you. Sorry, David. Carry on. Chris asked the question again to David.
Go on.
So where do you think Spurs are heading under Conte?
Well, in the long term, I think obviously they want to the pinnacle. They want to get the Premiership, and I think they want to.
But Conte's not a long-term manager, is he? If you look through his managerial record,
he's not. What do you know Conte? Do you know him very well?
I know his record, and I know his history.
All people. I've worked in business for a long time, and I've seen people coming out of business, and sometimes people look for longer term. They've been successful in short term. They look for longer term, but something to really make their name.
Conte's a strong character. If Conte doesn't get what he wants in the summer, do you think there's a chance of him walking away?
I think he'll get what he wants. I think Levy's accepted that. Levy's accepted.
I don't think that ever happens at Spurs. If you know, I mean, you know the club well, and you look at past history of Spurs. Levy runs the club.
I've been with 66. I've been with 60. And I think suddenly they decided that they want to be challenged. Well, maybe he will walk away. Maybe they won't rise to the challenge. But it's a challenge for Levy now, and I think.
David, just got to stop you there. Bruno Lage is with Rob Nothman.
Let's go.
He's right in front of me, Robbie. The wind and the rain is howling in. Yeah, we're going to start this interview now. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
How important was that victory? Because you had to work really hard during that game.
That's the right word, work. So in football, there's no secret. It's hard work and teamwork, and I think that word it's exactly when you can use for this game. It wasn't our best performance. I think it was a good performance on our side. We started very well in the game. First 15-20 minutes to control everything, the way we pressed, the way we managed the game with the ball. We scored a beautiful goal. But after that, we conceded some spaces. We gave confidence for them. And we don't control the game with the ball. Second half, I think it was also hard to play with the wind and the rain. We create some chances. We scored our goal. So in the end, when you come to this period now, we have 40 points. We are happy with the work we are doing here.
Daniel Podence was a threat throughout the game. How much do you feel that you've got him playing at his very best at the moment?
Well, that's the thing. Every time we want to take the best from our players, and now it's Daniel's moment, so we need to take his best now. He's scoring goals, he can do assists. In the beginning of the season, he jumped sometimes from the bench and helped the team to get the points. So, look, but this is a teamwork. I think the good thing we can say about this team, they understand they need to work hard every day and they need to work as a team.
Bruno, when you took over this season, you didn't make the best of starts. So at the moment, are you doing better than you really thought you could?
I think that's a good question. But when you look for our first game against Leicester and after the next two, Man United and Tottenham, we play really very well. And if you said to me which game you play better, I think we play better Leicester away than this one. So football is about that. It's not about just how you start the season. Is about to play the 38 games and to win points. And we are in the moment that the team now understand better what we want. We have the consistency I want for the team. We have the personality to play. And the last now 14 games is to play with character and ambition to see how we can go.
And one last thing, standing in the wind and the rain may not be that enjoyable, but how are you enjoying this job?
So much. It's I don't know. Being a manager, and it's a big pleasure, especially I can say that, especially when you have a team that they can understand and they work hard for your ideas. So it's very hard. We work very hard, but the most important thing is we try to do in the game like we did today. The good things with training during the week, and especially with these boys. They are there every day, working hard every day to put our ideas on the pitch.
Well, lovely to speak to you.
Okay,
Thanks so much for joining us, Robbie. That's it from the side of the pitch at Molineux. Rarely have I done an interview in a storm like that.
Well done, Robbie. Listen, Bruno said good words and good questions, Rob. Are you okay?
I know. I'm not used to that, am I, Robbie?
We need Jurgen Klopp back, Rob.
There'll be time.
Well done, mate. Thanks, Rob. That was Rob Nothman with Bruno Lage. Right then, Andrew Wolsan, did you hear your manager there?
Yeah, I did. I also heard the Leicester manager. I also heard the Spurs fan. Maybe you should consider changing the name from 606 to the Pity Party for teams beaten by Wolves. I mean, you spent the last 20 minutes just whining about how difficult it is for every other club. Oh, the wind, the rain. Oh, Spurs will get it right one day. Spurs got spanked like a borrowed donkey the other night. Not a word. When we beat, the first game of the season this year, we absolutely slapped Leicester, and they stole the win. Did Rodgers come out and say, oh, you know what, we got absolutely battered? No, he said, great defensive performance. We held our shape. We won the game. That's what happened to them today. They played well. I mean, Leicester's a great club. He's a great manager. I hope he doesn't lose his job because he shouldn't. But, yeah, bit of a pity party, mate.
And I mean, Wolves this season under Bruno Lage, you must be delighted with what you're seeing. And look, I think we'd all agree that Wolves weren't at their best today. I think Bruno Lage said that, but that's a good sign, isn't it? That you're winning games when you're not quite at your best.
I tell you, there's a bit of schoolboy football went on today, and that's no disrespect. They won the toss and they changed ends because the wind was blowing one way and they played with the wind, and it did change in the second half. That's what you should do. You always play with the wind, and they did, and they got the benefit of both halves. Right now, yeah, we're playing good football. We've got an outstanding defence. We're not scoring many goals. I mean, it's not news to anybody, is it? But we've got probably the best, if not second best, defensive defensive record in our league and probably Europe. We've got Max Kilman playing out of his skin. It's like watching Paul McGrath. He doesn't run. The ball's always where he is. Cody's marshalling things, and we're talking about poor Spurs and how difficult it is for them. And oh look, Leicester have got a couple of injuries. We've got a 15-man squad. We haven't had a full squad out all season.
Chris has written you off from a top 6 finish.
Andrew, no, I haven't.
I think it does his peril. Yeah, it's a tough league. You know, we'll beat Spurs one day and we'll lose to Norwich the next. I think we did, didn't we? You know, it's a tough league. There's good sides in it. And
yeah, but Andrew, you're doing so well. Andrew, as you say, you're beating the top teams. You're doing so well. You're 7th. You know, why have you written Wolves off, Chris?
That's not at all. I mean, the thing is, 4th's mathematically possible, but it's a long season, isn't it? And we don't have the bandwidth to lose too many players. It was great to see Neto back today. It was absolutely fantastic. He was our player of the season last year. He came on. I mean, I must admit, I never thought he'd come on today. He's on the bench for the first time. It's windy, it's rainy, the pitch is sliding. I'm thinking it's Leicester City. Usually, they've got some really horrible, aggressive midfielders. I don't know, blonde hair, long hair, just, you know, the kind of two-footed lads. I didn't think he'd be coming on the pitch today.
No real awareness.
Allegedly. There's allegedly in there, son. But no, he was amazing, and that's hate to go back to the old dark days of when Moxie was running the club, but it is like a new signing. We've got a world-class player came back today. That's a massive difference for us. Pedence was superb. We've got a better than good chance, but Andrew, being a Wolves fan, you don't want to be too optimistic, do you?
Andrew, I wish I'd have played against Wolves more, but I spent most of my time in the Premier League. Thanks for the call, Andrew. Really good call.
Let him respond to that.
Andrew.
I wish you'd have had the ball stale longer.
Andrew,
I'm sure you spent some time down at St Andrews, didn't you? In the second tier, was that what?
No.
I think in the second tier was most of his career, Andrew.
Andrew.
I'm fairly sure I remember John Terry saying he didn't have a career, but okay, that's fine.
Wow, Andrew, better than that, Andrew. We were getting on so well.
Sorry, that was cheap. I apologise.
Don't worry, Andrew. Thank you so much for the call. Don't phone 606 ever again. Andrew, seriously, but thank you so much. 08085 909 693. We'll take more of your calls after the news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Queen has tested